This is the Misdirected Mark Podcast, a podcast about gaming, game mastering, and entertaining you, our listeners. We are explicit, you have been warned, and I'd like to thank Mike Willard for letting us use his music on our show. Now let's pick up those mics and get on with this thing.
Hello! On this episode, it's year in review time. Let's look at the fireball that seems to be 2016 as we drink shots of rum chata, which also our coffee has rum chata in it. My name is Chris.
And I'm Phil.
And I'm Old Man Logan.
And here's cheers to all of you.
So wait, before we shoot this, this is actually a mixture. This is the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. This is rum chata and fire.
Oh, rum chata and fire.
Oh, yeah, baby.
So,
here's to the dumpster fire of 2016.
You got one, Bob?
Yep. Oh. All right, here we go.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is tasty. We hope that you're all having a lovely time.
Please, sir, may I have some more?
I didn't bring
Just
them.
kidding.
If it's after 2016 for you and it's 2017, Happy New Year. We all hope you had a wonderful Christmas. With that, I will say, Phil, my friend, what's going on?
Well, it's the holiday season.
And whoop-de-doo and dickory-dock. Or is it hoop-de-doo and dickory-dock? Either way,
I think we're good.
Anyway,
so did the holiday thing. Parents came to the house. Did present exchanges. Also good. Got a chance to... it was a good Christmas. I had a good time over Christmas. And got a chance to kind of relax a little, do some thinking, that kind of stuff.
some unagi.
Yeah, unagi, right? Yeah.
Salmon spring roll, as Bob said earlier.
Yes. Anyway, that part was good. Took my dad and Dante to go see Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Yeah, so I got to go see it. That was my second time in the theater.
What's your call sign?
Also known as Rouge One, a Lancome story.
Yeah, that's all me right there.
Nice.
I made that mistake.
Yeah, it was good. I'm gonna
As
save.
did many people.
Yes, indeed. I'm gonna save details of the Christmas haul and interesting stuff in my Christmas stuff for the after show.
Sounds good.
Just to keep us moving along. So, Robert, how was your Christmas time?
My Christmas was pretty good.
I saw a picture of you playing Circle of Six.
Yes.
Circle of Six.
Circle of Six.
Releasing early in 2017 on drive-through cards.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
I think
That's the goal.
I think it's more than hopefully. I think it's just going to happen.
I think it's going to happen. Let's just put it this way. My family loved that game. We were going to play like 3-4 rounds. You know, the way the game is written to play, you know, whoever wins like 3 rounds wins the game and, you know, happy. And they're like, let's go again. Let's just go again. We played like 15 rounds of that game.
Nice.
And they were loving it. So I was like, this is all good.
I mean, this is a game that I don't actually think we have to dwell terribly long on.
Yeah.
I think we need to get up to a print and play, send it out to a few friends, and check it off, sign off on it, and get it ready for drive-through cards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Heck, I would just be fine with the fact that we've played it a bunch already and it really works to just get it done and put it on drive-through cards.
Well, you know what? We are going to have a business. We're going to have a business meeting in the
14th of January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I absolutely think we should put it right on the topic.
I have much things to talk about in that business meeting.
Oh, good. This is one of those things where you want to tell me some of them,
I
so
will.
I can put them on them. They can put them on
In
the
due
thing.
time.
You haven't put the thing up
Agenda
yet.
out?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
As soon as you put the agenda out, I don't want to step on your toes.
No, it's fine. I love when you say shit like, I have a lot of stuff to talk about. Like, not that shit freaks me out in the
By
least.
the way, this business meeting, I have topics.
It's not bad stuff.
Okay.
It's ways for us to be
Yeah.
better at this.
Oh, well, that's fine.
There you go.
I'm good like that. Anyway, so good. So Circle of Six went well? and
Yeah, Circle of
Christmas
Six went well. Christmas went well. Having a good time, spending time with my new significant other,
Yes.
Amanda. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman.
Chris, have you met Amanda yet?
I have not met Amanda yet.
No,
have
but
not
we're
met
gonna
Amanda
try and rectify
Is she
that.
listening to the show?
No, she is currently asleep, I think, or trying to go to sleep.
Well, no, I mean, that's fine, but is she just listening to us, download it?
No, but she said that she is going to look into picking up the show and taking a listen.
Well, she'll learn to
I
regret it.
said you may be bored for a lot of it because a lot of it is like
Well, it's okay. We'll just tell her what the people
Super
who don't
heavy
care
gamey
about
stuff.
game stuff is you listen to the first 10 minutes and then you listen to the last 20 minutes.
There you go. And the after
Well,
show.
if you're not a patron, you
Yeah.
can't get the after
If
show.
you're not a patron, yeah.
I feel like it's selling out the middle part, but no, I get it.
I said if you're not into gaming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're damn funny to begin with.
That's all right. I'm going to turn her into a gamer. She's already halfway there.
Oh well.
She's
Then,
coming over to the dark side.
well, then
We
we
have
can help
cookies.
her. We'll do a segment. We'll make a segment.
A segment.
Yeah. We'll raise a gamer.
Raise a gamer.
Yeah. It takes a village. We'll do it.
Sure. That sounds like a great idea.
Right. We'll just accelerate it all. We'll cover all the basics.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do that intro to gaming segment.
I mean, we'll pick 7 role-playing games you absolutely should play, 7 board games you should absolutely play, and we'll just,
Wow, a top 7 list of things that you should play to get going.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
yeah.
We haven't done one of those in a while.
No,
Or ever, maybe.
we should. That could be a lot of fun.
There you
Other
go.
things that we should probably do is a episode on being on the spectrum.
That was actually requested
Yes, that
today.
actually, it's been pinned.
Although you kind of jumped the social media queue, but
Yeah, but I didn't put it in the social media queue, so I didn't. you
no,
know.
it's okay. It got requested today on G+, and yeah, we like it, and we're going to talk about it. And I think, we can't get our actual guest on here, can we?
Which one?
Can we
Dave?
get Dave to actually come on the show?
Not if we do it on Tuesday night.
No.
Maybe we could record an interview,
We probably
Do a
could.
special interview segment.
but maybe we could just tack that into the feed or something.
Yeah,
And
totally can.
Yeah.
yeah, because I think Dave would be. I mean, we can talk about what it's like gaming with Dave, but it would also be helpful to get Dave's perspective of what's it like what's it like gaming with a bunch of NTs.
Yeah,
NT standing for neurotypicals.
Yep.
That'd actually probably be pretty funny.
it would be
There you
pretty interesting. I don't know about funny. It's not something I'd like
No.
to make light of.
I don't want to make light of it. Dave is just
Dave is humorous.
Dave is
Yes.
humorous, and so he'll be able to cover this topic in a way that is meaningful and still pretty fun.
Yes.
That's very much Dave.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, Chris, how was your Christmas?
It was fine. Like, I did the things that I talked about on the Christmas special.
Did you make many pounds of bacon?
I did.
Nice.
I made 7 pounds of bacon, in fact. So that was a thing that happened. I got a little day drunk. That happened too.
Day drunk?
Yeah.
Awesome.
On Christmas Day.
Not in one of your epic level drunks, just like a little.
Yeah, just a little.
Okay.
Not an epic level drunk.
You didn't wake up in a tub.
No.
Okay.
No. I
That's
didn't
kind of how I know that you're epically level drunk. Is that often a tub is involved?
That's true.
What is it about tubs and you wanting to sleep in it when you're drunk?
I like having the water running on me, especially warm water when I'm
Oh my
hammered.
God, you're drunk in a tub with water?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I just thought you laid down like in an empty tub or something for
I thought,
security.
the cold porcelain.
No, I usually just go take a shower and lay down in the tub and then it turns into a bath. Why?
Shit, Chris, because you could fucking die from that.
Well, it's happened over a dozen times. I'm not dead yet.
All right. Well, less safe than I thought. Okay.
You do realize that
There's
now that you've mentioned you've done it 12 times, the law of probability is going to start catching up with
You say law of probability. I just call it the law of the fact that I'm good at this. Like, the thing about being hammered that much is like you get practiced after a while.
See, all right. If you were me, it's less dangerous. Like I'm so fucking tall that my legs fit in the tub,
Holy
and the
shit.
rest of me is
He
basically
just
like
made fun of me for being short.
a little. No,
We're
I'm
doing
concerned.
height jokes now?
We are doing
apparently-
height jokes. I'm concerned. Like, look at my height.
It
Like
must be the last episode of the year.
at my height, my legs are like the tub, and then like I'm sitting upright. There's no way to slide under. But maybe it's more of a concern for you.
It's not. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
All right.
I'm fine. I've always been fine. I've never drowned myself.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, okay. No, we're good. I mean, you haven't. I mean, you've sat outside in 20-degree weather without a coat on and fell asleep in a chair.
I was fine.
Nearly froze to death.
I didn't nearly freeze to death.
I'm pretty sure it's
Jesus.
called hypothermia.
You know what? If I didn't get hypothermia from those years that I worked as a garbage man,
Okay.
I'm not getting hypothermia from that.
All right.
Also, I live in Buffalo. Last time I checked,
How many? What was the temperature?
Well, I mean, it was like.
I mean
20.
it's warm as hell here, but right now, comparatively speaking, it was cold in Chicago. Oh my God, it was like -30 wind chill. That was ridiculous.
Oh yeah. I
Well,
mean,
wind chill. It's
So,
Chicago.
So back to Christmas and other things.
yes, please. Let's get back to your drunkenness.
I don't know if I mention last week that I didn't get that job. I think I
You
did.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't get that job. I did get the gig to be the marketing guy over at Baldwin Games.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's a thing you'll be seeing me doing more of a little bit. So that's a thing that I'm doing now. It is not in any way a full-time job, but it is money. Well, that's good.
Hey, man.
Money's always good.
Gig, right? One gig to another?
One gig to another. I've been writing a lot. Just keeping at it.
Man, that's you know what? Honestly,
all I do.
That is the shit I haven't done. Like, I've been really bad like the last couple weeks. Like, I haven't written, I haven't designed. Like,
Oh, here's the thing. I drew 8 maps for the area peaks.
you drew?
There you go.
I'm drawing the sketches for them because the
Oh.
thing is we need the sketches so that we can give them to the artist so the
Yeah,
artist
yeah.
can draw them.
Okay.
So there's like a 10 of those done because we're going to talk in our game of resolutions and stuff about how that didn't get done and it's like bothering me now.
It is.
'Cause I listened to last year's episode.
Yeah.
I'm mad. I'm very angry, actually.
At me?
No, at me.
Okay. I mean, you could be mad at me too. I get it. I mean,
No,
we made some decisions during the year.
I'm not mad at you. Why would I be mad at you? Like most of the stuff that didn't get done that I wanted to get done is on me. Like I wasn't good enough to get the area peaks done or written. I wasn't good enough to get the GM book done or written.
But I think the important part is that, well, we'll talk about when we get in the
Yep,
segment.
we'll talk about it there.
Okay.
Other things.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Like Christmas was Christmas.
Yeah.
I did all the Christmas stuff. I go to my grandmother's house on Christmas Eve. I go to we do Christmas brunch at my place, which is my mom. My mom lives in the apartment downstairs, so
Right.
like we all get together and there's like 100 people there over the course of the day. And then we went to the rehab center because Jen's mom had knee surgery.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
we were there for Christmas dinner. Like we went and did dinner at her house. Like all the kids were there and we all cooked.
Nice.
And then we took dinner to her mom and dad who were at the rehab place.
I did my Christmas casserole. That was my cooking. That's my responsibility is to cook to make the casserole for Christmas morning.
My favorite part of the evening though is like after that we went home and my mom and my Aunt Diane and my mom's boyfriend Buzz were still awake and they were still hanging out. And I heard them. They were being ridiculously loud because they were ridiculously drunk. So I went down there and then I hung out with them and then my sister and her husband, my brother-in-law, and my nephew came back by to grab something or other. And they stayed for a couple hours and that was like my favorite part of Christmas was just sitting with them and talking.
Nice.
Cool.
Because that's what I like about Christmas.
Hanging out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet. We got anything going on in the network?
Yes, 2 announcements that I want to give people. So first thing, the Misdirected Mark Twitter, the at Misdirected Mark Twitter, it is now being shared between me and Senda. So you will see posts from Senda through that Twitter at this point.
Does this mean you're not going to like post your lunch through the Misdirected Mark
Probably
account?
not anymore.
So if people wanted to follow Chris Sneezak, they should follow the Light 101.
Correct.
All right, so everybody pay attention. If you're currently following Misdirected Mark and you want to also follow Chris, like we say at the end of every episode, please follow the Light 101.
Yeah, I'm going to keep the Misdirected Mark stuff more to gaming and interacting in gaming ways. So I will still talk to people there about games and stuff like McClure, like when I jaw with him.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And PK Sullivan and such.
But I know, like, there was a time where you just kind of used
It was my personal Twitter also. It is not anymore.
Yeah.
The other thing is that starting in February, the mega feed is not going to exist anymore.
You want to explain why?
Okay. We have a lot of shows, and we want to be able to bring on new shows at some point in the future. And having that mega feed makes that problematic in a lot of ways. It also hurts for advertising purposes, which is a thing that we want to do in the future also.
Right.
Putting advertising on the individual shows. So it's something that just needs to stop. So if you want to get these shows, you have to go and get them individually. They all have their own feeds.
Yep.
Every single one of them always has. It's just that I'm going to stop putting stuff in the mega feed starting on February, and I'm going to shut down the iTunes mega feed too.
So what we're going to do from now until February is we're going to keep reminding you to go and individually subscribe to those shows.
Yes, get the shows that you want.
Right. And we understand that the moment you do that, you're possibly going to get some duplicate shows in your podcatcher, but you can sort that out.
Yes.
And once you have the collection of Misdirected Mark shows that you normally listen to, you can then drop on your phone, you can drop the mega feed.
Correct. And like I said, starting in February, there's not going to be anything posted to it anymore.
Right.
So
we don't want you to think that we've pod faded because the whole network has not vanished.
Correct.
So please evacuate the mega feed. In fact, we should make a little sound bumper with an evacuation kind of thing.
Yeah, that we
just,
should.
We should just.
Hey,
the
Bob,
next
would you
couple
please
weeks,
pin that?
Pinned.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For the next couple of weeks, please evacuate the mega feed.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, I actually have to evacuate the mega feed because that is my main source of subscription to the thing. So I'm going to have to put that on my to-do list. Otherwise, I will screw up my normal feed of episodes.
Yeah. Oh, and ding.
Ding.
Right as Senda put it in the chat room. I ding every time I pin something for the chat room.
Oh, okay.
For the feed.
I never realized you did that.
I never did
Ding.
that either.
And that they're on to you.
I didn't. Wow, they're paying attention.
Yeah.
They're smart and wily.
They
They're
are.
a smart and wily bunch.
They're
They're
listening.
wiry.
All right, Phil, you put a moment for Princess Leia or Carrie Fisher
Yeah, so
because she passed away today.
she passed away today. As if 2016 couldn't have been a large enough dumpster fire and have taken more celebrities from us. I mean, this one's kind of personal, right? Like this one, I mean, this is Princess Leia.
It certainly is Princess Leia.
I mean, so I was 5 when Star Wars came out, 77, and I saw it in the theater.
I was -2.
Yeah. And Princess Leia is the first kick-ass female character I ever knew. Because I really hadn't been to too many movies by age 5. So, you know, those moments of her, you know, grabbing the blaster and, you know, shooting a few shots down the hallway and then, you know, blasting a hole into the trash compactor and all of her lines and quips and, you know, all of that stuff. Like, that was my first exposure to a, you know, like a kick-ass female protagonist, and set the bar for me. I was also 5, so, you know, Princess Leia was my first crush as a kid, right? Like that was a thing. And you know, she was awesome. I mean, there's a lot of, you know, I mean, Carrie Fisher's life wasn't easy, but she owned all of it.
She sure did.
She was very honest about it. So yeah.
Her most recent book has many interesting things to say.
Yeah. So yeah, all in all, it was really sad news. Like, I mean, I felt like that one, that one was personal, like, to me.
What about you?
Yeah, that was, I mean, I didn't realize it at the time, but, you know, that is probably one of the first really strong female characters that I can remember. And I was 11 when I saw it because, you know, I'm old.
Older than me.
And
Thank
me.
you.
Yeah. But yeah, that, she didn't take any crap from the boys.
No,
you
she
know?
didn't.
I mean, Han tried to give her some lip, and she was like, I'm not having any of it. She takes control in the detention level and leads him into the garbage chute. She's like, whatever, this rescue sucks. We're doing it my way. And she did it, you know? It's like...
Oh, I mean, I love every scene that, like,
Yeah.
I love all the scenes she was in, especially the ones where she's bickering with Han Solo.
Oh, yeah,
like,
definitely.
in Empire, like at the beginning of Empire, and
Yeah. And, you know, I didn't like a lot of these things, you don't realize it when you're a kid. And then Jedi comes along and she gets enslaved by Jabba the Hutt. And what happens? She kills her oppressor with her own chains.
Yep.
yeah.
How awesome is that?
That is iconic for me.
This was 1983.
Yep.
Okay. You know, and we need more of that. You know?
Well, I mean, before she even gets captured,
Yeah.
she's the one who, like, sneaks in.
She goes in
Right,
and
she's
tries
the-
to rescue
She's
Han.
the thermal
She's got
detonator.
the thermal
Yeah.
detonator. She's doing the bluffing thing.
Yeah.
She's kick ass, man. She was kick ass.
I mean, she was
Absolutely.
on the Senate when she was 16, the character.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and Carrie Fisher played her really well.
Yeah.
And I always enjoyed when Carrie Fisher showed up in other places. Hey, Phil.
That as impossible as it is, I feel like that might be my phone. What?
It's almost like you get a new phone
way.
and you're not quite sure how it works just yet.
Still straightening that out.
You're right about her showing up other places too. I mean, when
She's
she
in-
showed
she's
up in the Blues
Scream.
Brothers.
Yeah,
Oh my
Blues
God.
Brothers.
Oh, she's great.
Oh,
in
she's
all
great.
others.
She's in Scream, the third one.
I didn't see any of the screams, but
There's not very many other places I can think of that she showed up.
No.
she's been in a few things. Apparently, she was in. Was it When Harry Met Sally?
You know,
Yeah,
because I
but-
can't think of any other movies, but you know what I do also remember? So I obviously, being 5 at the time Star Wars came out, and then just a couple years later being, you know, still a kid, I, you know, had a lot of Star Wars toys. But I always had a Princess Leia action figure. Like, that wasn't a thing. Like, it wasn't like it wasn't a girl's toy. It was
She was part of the action figure lineup.
She really was. And she had multiple characters too.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, and
Just
I
like
had
all the
them,
rest
man.
of them, yeah.
I had Hoth Leia. I had Bespin Leia.
I love Hoth Leia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bespin Leia was one of my in the red outfit thing. The one where she goes to dinner with Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
it's too bad,
Yeah.
especially since you're supposed to be probably in these next movies.
Well, I heard before she passed away that she finished all of her filming and voiceover work for.
Yeah, 8 was done.
For 8.
They're in post-production
What
now,
about
so 8 is
on,
done.
on the bright side, we have this wonderful technology now that we can just put people who have passed away in movies.
Yeah, 9 is going to require some work.
Yeah.
But,
And maybe a couple of script rewrites.
yeah.
But as we've already seen from Rogue One, well, that's maybe spoilers. No, because it's all over the place. They've obviously been able to put people who are dead or de-age them in ways.
Yeah.
And put them on screen. So that's a thing that exists now. I can't wait for somebody to win an Oscar that's already passed away.
That'll be interesting.
That'll happen at some point. All right. Well, we should move on to the feature segment, which is The Bar, our year in review. So we'll take a stroll over there right now. So I don't actually have bumper music for The Bar, but I really like this song.
Okay. I was going to say, I totally did.
It's for those who don't know, it's called Solar Winds. It's by Weapon X, which is Black Bullet.
Who gives us permission to use this song?
Yes, very much so.
You know what's interesting? As I dust off the bar, because there was a time where we used this place all the time.
It was because we used to do our news here.
Yeah, but we haven't actually been to the bar in quite some time.
Very long time.
So
Maybe since last year.
yeah, let's just get it cleaned off and settle in. I mean, we're already drinking.
We are, in fact, already drinking.
How is your coffee rum chata?
It's gone.
It's gone. Was it good?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
If that's any indication.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's gone as well. And interestingly enough,
Misdirected Mark,
tongue.
word scramble.
Yeah, thank you. You didn't put any sweetener in it, did you?
No.
Right. And I drank the whole thing, and I was like, this didn't need any sweetener.
No,
The
rum chata's
rum
actually
chata-
rum chata's
sweet.
sweet.
I didn't get an overly sweet taste from it, but it, like the whole thing, just the coffee and the rum
Yeah.
chata was just like, yep, this is working.
I can give you a pure shot of it. You can taste how sweet it is. It's pretty sweet.
It's very sweet.
yeah.
All right, so this is our year in review 2016.
Yeah.
The first thing we're going to start with is our successes from 2016.
Yeah, man.
So I guess I'll start. Why
Do
not?
it.
So I am much better at layout than I was before 2016 started.
Yes, you are.
And I was actually getting better at it anyway, but now that I have CS6 and I've been playing around with InDesign, I've learned that program pretty well. I've laid out a bunch of these Baldwin game adventures, and I'm just better at that. I'm a better developer, editor, and project manager than I've ever been in my entire life. I understand how making games works just in general. Like, I had very little clue at the beginning of last year, and I know I have a much deeper understanding of how this all works, thanks to the IDGN, I think, in a lot of ways, and also from just research and study and paying attention.
Yeah.
Because it's something I've made a study of. And I guess the last thing, because there's not a lot of stuff that I can say that we got done this year. It's just been a lot of learning this year.
Product wise.
Yeah.
But I think you discount that, because I think if you go back and count the Baldwin stuff, we actually did put a lot of stuff out. We can't claim a lot of stuff.
It's true. Well, like I said, we didn't do a lot of our own stuff.
That we did not do.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that, because that was a business decision.
Kind of was a business decision. I also didn't realize how much of that I would take our time.
Yes.
The other thing, I guess the last thing, is I feel that I'm a better leader than I've ever been. I'm better at communicating, understanding what needs to be done, organizing, delegating, and not taking everything out myself. I am much more willing to split up the work and ask people to help me.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to be. And once you hear how many things got going and moving on the misdirected Mark side of things this year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What about you?
Yeah, successes. Well, I mean, last year I was tinkering around with something that we were calling Aquapunk.
Yep.
That is very much Hydro Hackers.
It's a playable game.
It's a playable game twice. I mean,
Yeah.
the
Fate
Fate
version?
version was playable, and played at Gen Con, and then I completely retooled the game for Powered by the Apocalypse and made it playable again.
Yep.
So that was a lot of work. The first half of the year was getting the Fate version of it ready for Gen Con. The second half of the year was gutting that and getting the Powered by the Apocalypse version ready for ready for a Catacon.
Yeah.
Was really its its debut was at QCC, but it was super alpha. At QCC. It was far closer to late alpha, early beta by the time it got to Catacon in November.
I agree.
That was probably my main success. I think people who've listened to the show, this was a pretty rough year for me. So I am holding on to that one. Like that's my major success is shepherding Hydro Hacker through 2 development cycles.
Shepherding it, doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was mostly on you, while the rest of us were doing all those other things. You were doing that.
On a minor note, I'm pretty pleased with Rocker Boys and vending machines.
You should be.
That was that wasn't any heavy effort, but it was super fun to do.
Yeah, it doesn't. Regardless of the effort, like that is actually a thing that we did. That I say we. I didn't do anything,
and it's fairly well received.
Yeah,
it's been fairly well received, and honestly, it was fun to spend the money on it. It was fun buying the artwork from Megan, and John Arcadian just like slayed that layout. 80s layout.
Yeah.
So I was pretty happy with that. And then we'll talk about other encoded stuff. Other stuff happened encoded business-wise that I was pleased with.
Mm-hmm. Can I say a few more things about successes from this year for all 3 of us before Bob goes?
Sure.
We got nominated for an Emmy.
I think you have that later in the notes.
Yeah, I do. I mean, we can hold on to that. I mean, those are successes. I mean, those are milestones, but they're also successes.
Yeah.
Like when we talk about milestones, we'll hear about a lot of the more successful things that are like measurable things, I think.
Yes.
So, Bob, what about you?
Well, one of the things that I'm super proud of was that I crushed the weight loss challenge the first half of the year.
You sure did.
I rolled into Mexico at my lowest weight in probably 15 to 20 years. I can't give you an exact number, but it's in that neighborhood, 15 to 20 years.
Nice.
I hadn't been that low, 182 pounds. So, I felt really good about that. And then, I came into 2016 staring 50 in the face. All right. I turned 50 in March. So when this year started, 50 was right there coming at me. And that could mess with people. A lot of people get squirrely around 50, like, oh my God, I'm going to get, and I just looked at it and went, bring it.
Yeah, I feel like you really embraced.
Yeah.
And by embraced 50, like, I remember when we were in Mexico, like midday, Bob's like, I'm going to take a nap. Yep. And just left the pool area and just went and took a nap. I was like, well, good for you, Bob.
He sure was good until like midnight, 2 in the morning at that point.
Like, of course, part of the reason I had to take a nap in the afternoon was because I wasn't sleeping at night because I was drinking rum and Coke until midnight.
That's true.
And the caffeine was keeping me awake.
All I remember from Mexico is I was sleeping. Anytime I put my head down, I was sleeping because I think I was drunk for like 3 days.
We were drunk a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of drunkenness.
But then again, there was a lot of food. I ate a lot of food.
I ate food, man. I just drank.
But yeah, I grabbed 50 by the horns and said, let's go for a ride, man. So I feel good about that.
That AARP card and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I love that you got your AARP card and not just got it, but owned it.
And now I keep forgetting to use it.
Seriously. Oh, it's too funny.
Oh, man.
So, what are we doing now?
I think this is the part where we fess up to shit that we said we do and didn't do.
Sure, I'm more than willing to own up to the things that I didn't do that I said I would.
Some of these things weren't really like our fault that we didn't do them.
These are all of mine are my fault. I'm going to own them. It's my fault.
One of them is not. But go ahead.
Start the Mondo Fiction Buffet. I have the website domain, and I never actually got around to putting the website together or anything like that because I was a little bit busy. But I should have done it anyway and released it in some way, shape, or form, and I just never did. That was supposed to be the fiction line of things that I wanted to do. I didn't write the Airy Peaks. I mean, I sort of did, but I didn't get done with it. That's my fault.
Yep.
It should be done. I'm going to rectify that. And release a book on our own.
So release a book on our own was first of all, tied to 2 projects. It was tied to either the Airy Peaks or the GMing book, which we'll talk about.
Uh-huh.
And B, by late spring, we made a business decision to do something else.
Yeah.
And that actually knowingly impacted our ability to release a book.
It's true.
So I don't feel like the release a book thing was... I mean, the release a book thing, we didn't do it, but there was a reason we didn't do it.
Yeah.
And I'll just segue into this. The GMing book was a thing you and I were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
We actually did it up to a point.
Yeah.
It was hard.
It is hard.
It was hard for a couple things, right? The topic was tricky.
Mm-hmm.
the way we went about writing it was tricky. Like, it was different than the books I had done for Engine, where it was I write a section, you write a section. Like, we were much more integrated.
Yeah.
But it took us a little while to actually figure out how to even do that.
It's true.
Without wanting to, like, headbutt each other. Because there were a couple points where
we were headbutting each other.
It was like
constantly.
That. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a worthy project to come back to. I don't think it's one that we throw in the trash.
No.
But I think there's ways to do it.
It's on my list of things to get done this year.
And I wanna contradict something you said earlier, because you made the statements that you weren't good enough to finish the Airy Peaks and you weren't good enough to do them. And you use those words, and that to me is patently untrue. It wasn't that you weren't good enough. It's that priorities changed and other things started to fill the time, and it didn't get done. But it wasn't because you weren't good enough. It was for a bunch of other stuff.
I felt that when I go back and I read that stuff, because I've been reading it lately, that writing is not my best effort now.
Well, now I will say this. I mean, you're clearly a year later.
Oh, yeah.
A better designer and writer.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
It's been a whole year of studying what we're doing.
And, it may just be that, the book wasn't ready to get written yet, and you're better equipped to write the book.
I'm with Bob. Sometimes these things happen. Like, you're now going to do Airy Peaks. It will actually be much better than if you had finished it last year.
It's true.
Yeah.
So,
that's why it didn't get done, because it wouldn't have been what I wanted it to be.
There's a thing, and it's not good business wise, but it is true creatively. There are times where you're going to go and do a thing and finish it, and there are times where you're just like, I don't know, like, I could do this thing, like I could certainly do it and finish it on spec, as opposed to I'm ready to do this thing. Like, I can make this the way I want, the way I see it.
There's an argument, though, to be made, like, you should do a thing and get it done so that you can move on to the next thing, because getting the thing done will give you the experience to get the next thing done. But
True.
Luckily, we had all that Baldwin game stuff, which let me go through and learn a lot of things. I got to basically make 50 vases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes these things happen for a reason. And I'll say this, that rushing through to do the Airy Peaks to get it done is probably not the project to rush through and get it done on.
No.
That's not any project.
It's true.
It's personal.
It is very personal.
And it's personal. I mean, it's personal to you. It's
personal to everybody.
Yeah,
it's personal to all of us.
Yes.
Well, those of us who played it.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Airy Peaks it's a thing. And I'm kind of, I'll be honest. This Chris is kind of I'm happier that this Chris is going to go take a crack at it.
Me too.
Yep.
Okay. The jamming book, right? Like, that was the thing.
Screw that book.
I mean, look, we'll get it. Like, we can nail that book.
Yeah.
We're smarter. So we'll do it.
I still have all my notes hanging on the corkboard.
I still have all my notes, yeah.
No, mine are hanging on the corkboard in my office.
Yeah, I didn't go.
I know you guys will do that book. And again, this is you're that much farther into your design careers and your knowledge and your, all of these things and working together, and you will make the book happen.
That's a weird thing. Like, me and Phil don't work together as much as we used to, because we're both busy managing shit.
Yeah. But
which might actually be better for us, because when we come back to work together.
Yeah, it's true.
But you also have a better understanding of how each other work.
I also think that
the other projects and stuff.
I think we also have a better understanding of, the need for collaborating to get it done. I mean, we took a run at this. We know where the pain points are. Like, we'll just come out of it smarter and say, okay, well, if that's all the stuff that hurt, like, how do we not do that again?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lessons learned in there.
Yep.
Bob, what about you?
Well, the big thing for me was to sell that game, Relic Hunters.
We tried.
And
It's not for lack of trying.
It's not like it's our fault that it didn't get sold, but
still not there.
It went out and it was in somebody's hands, and it's still there, but things have changed.
Yeah, we actually have to do something about that.
So we have to figure out what's going to happen next. But again, there was a passion for this, and we all shared it. But I took the passion and I kind of tempered it a bit and kind of held it over here and was like, I'm happy with this game. I'm proud of the way it came out, and I'm proud of the effort that went into it from the entire team. And someday I want to see it in somebody's hands, producing it and selling it and saying, I made that, and somebody, bought it and, is enjoying it and that kind of thing. But it was like, I understand that it's a process, and I was able to let go in certain terms and be like, let it do its thing. And if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, well, you know what? I've designed 3 more games since then.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And one's pretty close and one is like brand new, but almost ready to go. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well,
I'll
I'll say this, like, I'm so super proud of Relic Hunters that I'm dumb enough to
Man,
make this game myself.
If people like, if we like Relic Hunters, if people like that game, wait till you see the stuff that Bob and with me developing it have come up with.
Yeah.
Like Core Crisis is a real thing. Like that game is good.
Yeah.
Circle of Six, that is a card game that you'll want to have.
Circle of Six is so good that you're going to see it way sooner because we're just going to go drive through cards on it.
Yeah, like that'll be really soon. Like,
yeah, I got to say, I'm really, so here's the thing I'm really impressed about. So I remember Bob's first game ever, which kind of predates you, which is Titan Stones, which was a modestly okay game. I mean, you would have punched a whole lot of holes in it.
that game was better as a card game. 'Cause
It
that's-
was.
that's what
It
turned
was.
into.
It was. But even then, it was pretty good.
yeah.
Relic Hunters is fantastic. Relic Hunters is an actual real game. Like, that is a game that you could, if it was on a shelf and you bought it, you would be like,
I
this
spent
is a
some money and
professionally designed game.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah. And your next 2 are equally excellent. Like, you've really grown over the past couple of years as a game designer. And soon we're going to make you a professional game designer. Like, we're going to sell this. We're either selling it or my stupid ass is going to get us into actually producing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really, really trying not to do that. But I'm to the point where if we can't get a publisher, I can't shelve this game in good consciousness.
It's okay. I've learned ways that there are avenues that we can take that will not be the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, and there's been a few things I haven't had a chance to talk to you about, but ways to manage the distribution and shipping part that.
Oh, good, because it's the thing I can't figure out.
Yeah, I actually got a line on something for that. I'll tell you later. But
So there you go. Relic Hunters is not dead.
oh, it is.
It's currently floating in the ether a little bit.
Well,
but,
I'm gonna go fish it out of the ether. Like, I'm actually gonna do something about that. That's after the new year.
Yeah.
Like, no time to do it now. Anyway.
No time for love, Dr. Jones.
Yeah.
Anyway, that one didn't get done, but not for lack of trying. You guys pitched it at Gen Con. Like, we did that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I
good.
pitched a game and they took it. That's
Yeah.
very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's talk about some good stuff, man. Like, what's some stuff that we did at MMP?
Okay, so we had over 170,000 downloads of podcasts this year.
Phew, man, that's a lot.
That's a lot of podcasts.
That's a lot of podcasts.
I mean,
we
launched.
make a lot of podcasts. We'll get to that in a
Okay,
second.
good. Yeah.
We make a lot of podcasts, but we also had a lot of downloads.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So the G Plus community hit 300 people.
Do you remember, like, when we had to beg to, like, get 50?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
nice.
And I've trimmed that community of bots a couple of times in the last couple of months. And now it's
good.
302. So
We're-
it's like a real 300.
We're less Russian dating bots.
Yeah, it's like a real 300.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like interacting with the Russian dating bots. I mean,
do you like to talk to them about cock rings too?
Well, if you were listening to before the show, sure. I mean, at this point now, I'm in for like 10.
Phil,
I'm in
did-
for 10 grand.
Phil,
with
did
the
you notice
Russian
how I brought up cock rings in conjunction with Russian dating bots? How it actually made sense? Like there was a connection there.
Yeah, but
Granted, there was a callback
Is
to
it actually
something
that
ridiculous.
funny when you make it in?
It was when you got really, really awkward for a second. I'm sure everybody laughed when they heard you like, well, yeah, but.
Yes, and I do like talking to Russian dating bots about cock rings. Thank you. Yes, and I've spent 10 grand on talking to them further.
Yeah, there you go. Have you recognized that we are explicit? You have been warned. If you haven't, folks out there, then you
I
should-
think they just learned.
They just learned.
Yeah.
This is not a kid-friendly show, unfortunately. Sorry, everybody.
Sorry.
And
Yet, despite our talk of cock rings, we got
nominated for any and a Golden Geek.
nice segue, right?
It was until you mentioned that it was a segue.
It's funny because yeah.
Hashtag.
Anyway, yeah. We did, and in both cases, I mean, for the ENnie, it was the ENnie's judges who, what you call it, who actually listened to our submitted show and nominated us. And the Golden Geek is community
driven. Yes, so we had to have enough people that get you through the first level.
Yeah, and consistently we wind up on a list with Ken and Robin.
Yeah.
So
and other really good shows too.
I agree.
Like One Shot.
Yeah.
And
like we consistently show up in places with podcasts that I respect greatly.
yeah, me too.
So
I respect them.
So we must be doing something that people like.
Well, we brought you on.
Yeah, we brought Bob on.
That was our secret
169.
weapon.
Not gonna argue with that.
Yeah.
So this year we grew our listener base somewhere between 100 and 200%.
That's that's big.
So if our listenership, if our we launched a Patreon this year too,
Yes.
and it's doing rather well.
Yeah.
I would say it's doing well enough.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it do better, of course, but
I want to see it hit
doing
360.
decently. I would like to see it
Just
360
saying,
too.
I can't even remember all the shit we promised for
So
360.
so we have 60 patrons. So if 2 to 3% of your listener base is giving you money, then we have somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 listeners.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that works.
I mean, I think for people who aren't producing podcasts, it's really hard to gauge listenership.
Super hard. Yeah.
It's super hard. In fact, this is the secret podcaster thing. No podcaster really knows their actual numbers.
I mean, we can guess.
Everybody's got to guess.
So Blueberry has a tracking thing that a lot of WordPress people use,
Right,
which I use it. And
The website tracks downloads.
yeah, my number for the 170,000 downloads of podcasts, that was from Blueberry from this past year.
So
if you go off of our AW stats or our this is all back end stuff on WordPress, AW stats or C, whatever the other one is, I can't remember what the other.
Yeah.
It's in cPanel though.
Yep.
We went from having around 6,800 unique IPs come to the website
Right.
last year to having in September we had 18,000.
Right.
Last month we had 15.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Still, that's
So when we say something like we grew our listenership between 1 and 200%, we're not being fickle. It's that it's really hard to kind of gauge this.
yeah, it's really tricky.
And I mean, this is the same thing. If you ask Happy Jacks, if you ask those guys, everybody's got a finger in the wind for how big they are. And we all kind of know order of magnitude,
Yeah.
but exact numbers, nah.
Yeah, I mean, we're like if there's 3 tiers of podcasts for role-playing games, we are like a second-tier podcast.
Yeah.
We are not One Shot.
Yeah,
or
we're
Ken
like
and
the
Robin.
evil hat of...
Yeah, I guess. I feel like Evil Hat is now...
Well, I feel like they're moving up.
Evil
I
Hat's
feel like they're moving up to the
graduating, yeah.
1.
Yeah.
But they're like evil... Like, we're like Evil Hat when
Like
Fate
4
Core was released.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the other thing, we added a whole bunch of shows this year.
Yeah, man, we did.
A lot of shows
That's a
started
lot of
this
shows.
year.
So I'll do the first one.
Sure.
So we in the spring, early spring, late winter.
42 weeks ago.
Yeah, 42 weeks ago, we added Pandas Talking Games, which, let's be honest, was in part a way for me to hang out and be funny with Senda.
Yeah, and it's been a really good show for us.
Yeah, it's it originally, I think Senda called me out on this the other day. I think we originally said something like our goal was something like 20 minutes.
it's a short form podcast.
Which we seriously no. Like
No.
no, but can I tell you the thing that let me tell you the thing that we didn't plan for. So it took us a little while, Senda and I, to come up with what would be the 2 points of view. Because the first thing that we both threw out immediately was like, we're not doing gender.
Yeah.
Like and Senda and I talked about this the other day. Like,
Which I appreciate, actually.
it was really brilliant that we didn't, because it would have set a bad tone.
It really would have.
Right? Like it would have made Senda the female gamer as
Yeah.
opposed to what she really is, which is the kick-ass one-shot GM.
Correct.
So
Absolutely.
that was really good. The thing that we did not plan for. So we were very careful. We planned out the format for the show. We bought the music. We, we didn't plan out the name very well because we had to go back and name change it to Pandas Talking Games.
Which is actually really clever. It's given us a lot of stuff.
It did. Well, it created a mascot, right? The
Created a
Panda's a
mascot,
mascot for
yep.
the show. But the piece that we did not plan for initially was the outtakes.
Yes.
And the outtakes got put in the first couple
I don't
episodes.
even know where that came from.
I think it was just that we were
That wasn't me, right? Like, I didn't start that.
No, I think Senda
that was
did
her.
it.
Yeah.
But once we did the outtakes, it then took on a life of its
It
own.
really did.
Yep.
And that show is known for both its jamming advice and its outtakes. And the outtakes have even started, like, there's waveform theater. There's a number of, like...
Inside gags.
Yeah, there's a number of inside gags that happen. There's, like, hands on your head for bumping the mic. And
I've got a bad feeling about this with your hoodie.
Right, the hoodie reveal. There's a lot of them. And the truth is, so I love this show, right? Like, this show is great because I love doing the show with you guys. And I think you know me on the mics, you know me on social media, and then you know me hanging out in my living room. I'm not as funny in public as I am in private.
That's true.
And Pandas Talking Games is one of the places where I get to be funny.
Yeah, because it's part of the shtick of the show, right?
Right.
Like here, we sometimes joke around, but really this is supposed to be a bunch of guys having a scholarly...
Yes.
Because we're guys. I mean, we would have women if we had women here with us.
Yes, absolutely.
A bunch of people having a scholarly debate about role-playing games.
Yeah.
Not even debate, discussion.
Discussion.
It's
Yeah.
actually a discussion.
Yeah.
There's really no debate.
Yeah.
That's not-
Occasionally.
No, and so,
If there is, we've actually failed at our mandate in a lot of ways.
so we are occasionally funny on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, and we have moments, and
As in Russian dating bots and cock rings.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's funny. Oh, what happened?
I feel like that might be the sequel to
Rocker Boys and Vending
Rockin'-
Machines.
Rocker
oh
Boys and
man, what the heck?
No. Cock rings and Russian dating
Oh
bots.
jeez.
Pin that, Robert. I'm getting to work. Get me my quill. I'm going to compose a game.
Ding.
Sorry.
Anyway, so unlike moments like this where we are actually a little funny, you're right. The goal of the show has always been like this scholarly discussion. I mean, and that's why we go to the depth we go to when we start taking stuff apart and that kind of thing. But yeah, so Pandas Talking Games is a place where I get to be funny and a little absurd.
Yes.
It is the rare case where you actually catch me breaking out in song.
I like that you say a little. That's filled with absurdity turned out to 11.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why that show takes forever to
Record?
record because,
You're purposely trying to make Send to laugh?
I mean, sometimes.
Like
I mean,
most of the
sometimes
time?
it's just easy. I mean, look, making Send a laugh is like shooting fish in a barrel.
Town is the fish.
Like sometimes,
City's the bear,
but
people are the
sometimes something becomes funny, and then I just by instinct, just push it. And I think there's an episode or two ago where she laughed for like 2 minutes straight because
You broke her.
I just pushed, right?
Yeah.
And kept going. So anyway, and I guess what I'm saying is I love that show because you get to see a very different part of me.
And I can say for sure that the rest of the shows I'm about to talk about won't take nearly as long to talk about combined as Pandas Talking Games because we let Phil talk about it. Because Phil's always going long.
They don't call me go long for nothing.
Verbose.
Thanks.
Verbose.
V for verbose.
V for verbose.
Too bad. I'm going to talk about each one of them now to give them equal airtime.
No, you're not.
No, we are because you were like this show. This
Let me
show's
just
too
turn
thin.
off your mic. Okay, there we go.
You don't think I can be loud enough to get picked up on your mic?
That's fine. At least it'll be quiet.
Impossible.
So CypherSpeak has had a few issues, but it's still around. That's Darcy and Troy talking about all things Monty Cook games. I imagine in the new year there will be a monthly show that will come out regularly. If not, I'll have to revamp it or do something with it and make sure it actually happens.
I mean, I love this show, right?
I love this show.
I love this show. It was really funny because when the show was first a concept, Darcy pinged me and was like, she's like, I hope you don't mind. I want to steal your and send us formula for the show. And I was like, what formula is that? And so she's like, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this thing about the cipher system, and I'm going to do it with Troy, and we're going to kind of, go back and forth. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's not the format for Pandas Talking Games.
No, not at all.
I'm like, you're not going to be completely absurd and ridiculous. So no, you're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, we got wind that show was coming. We went after it.
I did.
Yeah.
Aggressively.
Yes. And yeah, they're fantastic. I mean, Troy and Darcy are wonderful.
The next show, the Gnome Cast, which will have its 5th episode this week. It's a bi-weekly show. It is by gnomes for the people of the Gnome Stew and Misdirected Mark Productions and whoever else wants to listen to it. It is really, we're just talking about an article and giving other points of view on it, and then talking a little bit about the gnomes. It's a very short form podcast. It's about 20 to 25 minutes. It actually is about 20 to 25 minutes. It actually fulfills the short form podcast.
Don't look at me like that. I've been on that show. Don't look at me like that.
Yeah,
I've kept it to 25 minutes.
I know. I was very impressed. Yeah, it's the Gnomecast. It's good. I like it.
I do too.
I can't wait to do 26 more episodes next year.
Yeah, I will jump in on some of those.
I hope so.
Yeah, I like doing that. It's fun.
Yeah, it's good. So Advantage to Insight. This is a complete shock and surprise to me for this year that came out of nowhere. So Wayne Chang, the Palladian.
Oh, I love Wayne.
I love Wayne.
It's
too.
hard. It's hard to start, and then as soon as you mention Wayne, it's like I love Wayne.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Like our cover art for before the stream shows up, he had that made for us.
Well, the cover art for Pandas Talking Games.
The pandas. Yeah, he had
Yeah.
that made too. He's the best, man. Like Wayne is just great.
He is super cool, and it was awesome because we got to see him at QCC this year.
And I like so people were like, why have Advantage to Insight and why have Down with D&D? Why have two D&D shows on your feed? I'm like, well, me and Sean are way more. One, me and Sean are talking about the brand of D&D, and
Yes.
we're talking about what's going on with the design and stuff. So, and we do a lot of design work.
Yeah.
For it, and Sean is like right in the thick of all that stuff.
Sometimes so much so that you have to take him out of the show for.
Yes, yes, I do. In fact, so we have a very different look at D&D than Wayne and Alex do. Wayne and Alex they play a lot of Adventurers League. They play a lot of just D&D for fun on the side. Like I do too. Don't get me wrong, but even some of that's playtesting.
But they're fans of the game.
They are fans of the game.
I mean, the way they attack certain topics, like the way they attack settings and stuff like that. Like,
Well, that is my favorite thing. Like I like when they just do regular Advantage to Insight episodes. But Wayne has gone on a crusade to do setting content, like for specific settings of like classic settings, and finding experts to do said thing with, which falls very much into the misdirected mark ethos, pathos, whatever it is, the ideology that we like to follow around here, which is like find somebody who's an expert, get on the mics and talk about the thing with them, and try to be entertaining when you can be, but really be informative.
Yeah,
it's about information and entertainment at the same time.
Yep, absolutely.
So that stuff, I love it. And then like the Jeopardy things that he does, like he puts in a lot of work. Like he does the job.
He does.
So I love him. I love that show. I can't wait to hear more of it this year. I love the fact that they're doing more and more setting things. I heard a rumor. It won't be on our network, but there's going to be an Eberron show.
Ooh.
Once a month or once or twice a month with Christian Serrano.
Oh, well, that's the sexy voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a rumor. I don't know if it's going to happen. I heard Keith Baker might be on it too. I heard Wayne is going to be on it also.
That is a good.
Yeah, an Eberron show with Keith Baker.
Yeah, and Christian Serrano. Like Christian Serrano is.
I mean, Christian Serrano.
He knows tons about Eberron.
He is like the standard bearer
Yeah.
of Eberron. Like when everyone else.
Keith Baker, Christian Serrano, right?
Well,
a little lower.
A little lower.
Yeah.
But I mean, Chris, like that guy never let go of Eberron. Like when
Never
WotC
did.
stopped developing for it, he was like, I'm just going to keep carrying this flag forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And the last show that we started, and it just started. Really, this is probably more of a 2017 thing, is the Wednesday Night Podcast All Stars. So that is the show, the actual play, the long form actual play that is going to be on Misdirected Mark.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's me. It's Brett B. from Gaming and BS. It's Emily from She's a Super Geek. It is Tom Flanagan from the Knights of the Night, and is Kevin Lovecraft, you all know and love from the chat room and other places on the internet.
Awesome.
And right now we're playing Avalon. There's actually a whole series of games that is never going to see the light of air because just there's audio issues and problems with it from that we played through Ravenloft.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, it is. It is really too bad. But it started, and tomorrow, actually, no, not tomorrow, Thursday, which might be tomorrow depending on when you're listening to this. Me and Brett are actually going to record an episode 0 because episode 1 I got out there for Christmas for people to listen to, and it starts in media res, and there might be some confusion unless you're really listening to what's actually going on. So look for episode 0. That'll be coming soon. So that's all the stuff that we started this year on Misdirected Mark Productions, new podcasts. And then for shows. And then there's the Slack Room for Life.
Yeah, first chat room for life because, hey, I think you forgot to mention this. We went to Twitch this year.
We did go to Twitch.
So we upped our live game.
We really did.
And in doing so, we not only upped our live game, the chat room for life burst along with it.
It really did.
And then, yes, now please, with that.
then that leads to the Slack room for life. So we have a Misdirected Mark Slack, and we invited all of our patrons that have pledged a certain amount of money into the Slack room, which I really need to do that for a certain patron that I haven't done that for yet, which I'm bad at this game apparently. I'll do it after the show. Hey, would you put a pin in for me to do that? Hey, Jason Hobbs.
To do what?
To put in a pin for me to put Jason Hobbs in the Slack room for life? My bad, bro. I completely slipped my mind on that one.
Ding.
Thanks. Yeah, Slack room for life. I love the Slack room for life. I love the chat room for life. I love the fact that we're live. Hi.
I love that we're live. Like, it helps in a couple ways. One, the energy just from interacting with the chat room throughout the show is awesome. Two, I think it adds an extra dimension to the show that we didn't have originally.
It's true.
And three, let's be honest, there's a serious need to keep the show running. It's live. Like,
yes.
There are people who have it on their calendar, like, get home, listen to Misdirected Mark.
Yeah, it's an event.
That's extra incentive for us to do the thing.
Right. Feel like because of that, like, we need to show up.
Yeah.
And not only just show up, but show up with some actual game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it helps us as much as it hopefully entertains everyone else.
Yeah. I was jazzed earlier today, and then when I got here, I got a little tired, and then when we started the show, I got jazzed again.
Yeah. I mean, I always get excited. Like, 99% of the time, I think there was like one day, that Luke Cage episode, where I was kind of beat down by the time when we got down here. But most days, no matter how beat I am from the time I get home from work, I look at like the clock and I'm like, okay, 3 hours. Here we go. Like, get ready. And then you guys show up at 7 and we hang out upstairs and it's like, all right, it's almost showtime. Like, let's do this. Yeah. So good stuff.
So that's Misdirected Mark 2016. It was a really good year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me about Encoded Designs.
So Encoded Designs, man, like, first of all, Character Cache, our perennial...
came out every month.
It has gone up and down in backers, but it's still doing okay.
Can I tell you this month, man? Like
the character?
The character.
Listen, I know you're going to say that. There isn't a month where we haven't said that.
Yeah, I really appreciate this one a lot, though.
I do too. I think it's great.
The revolutionary Terminator, basically.
Yeah, Revolutionary War Terminator. It's fantastic. So I've loved the cache. Like, I love the voting. Like, we don't design these characters in advance. Like, we take the voting and we brainstorm and we come up with this stuff. And every month, no matter who's writing, like, the artwork's great. I mean, Matt as an artist has increased. And on top of that, it just looks fantastic.
It really does.
And I'm really proud of them. Like, I wish the Patreon was bigger, but I'm super proud of what we're putting out.
Yeah, me too.
In addition, we start releasing them through drive-through.
Yes.
So that was good. Like, we now have a product line.
Yep, you can pick up past ones.
More products. That was excellent. We talked about this earlier. We did the D&D adventures for... I'm sorry. We didn't talk about this. We were in the first wave of Adventures for DM's Guild.
We were.
We did a massive undertaking in a short amount of time to produce a very good adventure.
Yeah.
That looked professional.
Yeah, and for everybody who's wondering where the player's guide and the next one is, it's coming.
We're getting there.
Sorry.
Like, that's the thing we got to go back and talk about. But we were there. I mean, we got a tip that it was coming, and we scrambled. We actually did a pretty heroic effort in terms of how fast we wrote, edited, laid out.
We turned that thing around quick.
4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty impressive.
Everybody was available to hit it when their piece came up.
Boy, did we. I mean, we got art. John and I got artwork.
Yep.
You guys got writing.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, I was really proud of that. We partnered this year with Baldwin Games.
We did.
And we put out their adventures for Origins, Gen Con.
And other conventions.
Yeah, not Dragon Meet.
Dragon Con.
Dragon Con. So we did those. We don't get a lot of credit for that.
No,
but
it's earnings on those adventures.
But the people who've seen them on DM's Guild, I mean, the reason I know that we've done a good job is because we have been solicited.
Yes.
To do that for other people who are writing adventures.
I also know the one that I wrote is sold around 250 copies too, so that's not so bad.
Which is also awesome.
It's okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a big undertaking for us. Bigger than I think we initially thought, and it used up a lot of resources that we could have done other stuff with.
Yeah.
But it also paid.
We needed to learn how to do that before we could actually do it. Now it's more like the character cache. Like, I know how to do them quickly.
Yeah. Well, we had to learn the process.
Like, I needed to learn how to do the layout. The editing part isn't as complicated as it used to be.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about this. At the beginning of the year, we fulfilled the rest of the part-time Gods of Fate Kickstarter.
We really
two
did.
Supplements.
Yep, 2
Totally
supplements.
forgot about that.
2 more books with our names on them.
Yep. 2 more books with our names on them. They're excellent. We also did Rocker Boys and Vending Machines as a very quick little mini game. One that John Harper appreciated when we sent it to him. So we did those things. You know, the other thing I did not put on the list, which I can mention now, but it will go on the website later
What's
because I
that?
just haven't gotten around to it. And I think we've talked about it internally, but I don't think we ever got fully resolved on it. Matt Morrow is our staff artist.
He is, in fact, our staff artist.
We love Matt. He does so much artwork for us that we all talked about it, and we offered Matt a position as staff artist, which is a little different than partner because it pays more.
That's true.
Because taking on a partner means you take on a share of the profits, which we know isn't huge.
It's not a
yet.
huge amount of profits yet.
But as staff artist, basically what it means is Matt's our go-to guy unless we're specifically looking for a particular art style. So if we're not looking for a particular art style, then we go to Matt. And we love it. We love working with Matt. So, and we're excited. So the website's going to be updated. We're going to actually put Matt's picture up on the website with us.
Yep.
And all that stuff.
Things I forgot to mention. The Misdirected Mark website's going to get redone this year.
Next year, 2017.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, that's when we talk about, I think, stuff coming up.
Oh, is it in there?
I don't know.
I don't think it's in there.
Anyway. All right. So, so Encoded Designs, I don't think it was a bad year. It wasn't what we planned if you go back and listen last December.
It was a very D&D heavy year.
It
True.
was.
True.
Which is interesting because it lets you do Hydra hackers. I mean,
It
you were
did.
sort of off by yourself doing that, but it was actually really good in a lot of ways because it let me get right in the thick of that because it wasn't something that you were necessarily interested or comfortable with. So I got to be
It wasn't my
more-
strong suit.
I got to be more involved with the process.
Yeah, I mean, you and Sean shepherded that whole project.
Yeah.
That was very much hands off for me. I took care of some money side stuff, and that was about it.
Yeah.
I do have to say I'm a little sad that the Paranoia book isn't quite done yet for this year, but that's okay.
It's okay because it'll be a 2017 release.
Yep.
It is.
It'll be a quarter 1 2017 release.
Yeah, it is imminent.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not pipe dream or anything. We'll talk about that coming up, but it is imminent, and I'm very proud of the work that you did on developing that. All right, let's talk about lessons learned. So
yeah, this is like a project management thing.
So project management wise, lessons learned, we always talk about 3 things. What went well? So stuff that we would like to try to continue to do in the future. What could have gone better? So what could we have improved upon? And what surprised you? Surprise doesn't mean good or bad. It just means that it wasn't something you accounted for.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to actually talk about this personally. Right?
Yes.
These are our personal lessons learned for the year.
Bob, do you want to go first?
Sure. I can go first. Let me scroll down here. La 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 la.
La 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 la.
Okay, so what went well from my perspective? I mentioned this earlier in the successes. I really kicked ass, in my own personal opinion, at the weight loss challenge for the first half of the year.
You really did.
I was tracking calories. I was watching quantity. I was watching quality. And I was being really good about what I ate. And I dropped a ton over the course of that first half plus prior, going back into 2015. But I really did a good job of that. And that worked very well for me. Something that could have gone better would have been the second half of the year for the weight loss. After we got back from Mexico and then did Gen Con, things slowly started to degenerate. And by the time Halloween came around, I was kind of on an up, down, up, down, up, down. And then Thanksgiving hit and it was boom, just down the tubes from there. So I did not finish strong. However, I am going to rededicate myself in the beginning of 2017 to focusing on watching that stuff again and get back to where I need to be, which is probably between 185 and 190, to be honest. 182 was low, but it was good to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And the surprise, what surprised me about this year, I rolled into the holidays with a girlfriend, which was it was kind of mind-boggling to me because it was totally unexpected.
Bob is off the market.
I'm like, what?
I mean, we tried to pimp you out for part of the year.
You did, and I appreciated that, even though I gave you crap about it. But yeah, I Thanksgiving came around, and Thanksgiving weekend, I went out on a date, and it's that's it.
Well, look, I'll say this: I've always known you were a good guy, so I'm glad that I'm glad that there is a woman out there who is appreciating what a good guy you are.
And you've also seen the stark difference between single Bob and relationship Bob.
Oh yeah.
There's a definite difference there.
Well, I mean, listen,
I haven't noticed yet.
Well, I mean, there's a couple things.
Yeah, you haven't known me as long. There were stretches back before where
Bob's good boyfriend material. Like, I mean, he's got game. He's got boyfriend game. But I think where it all started, I mean, before you turned 50.
Did you just slurp that straw on
did.
the mic?
I just slurped that straw on the mic.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it was hilarious.
I know, it's great. I mean, he's fantastic. He's boyfriend,
Good boyfriend material.
Slurped
Slurped on the
he's a
straw.
little messy on the mic.
Apparently.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think the big turnaround for you was when you got your job at Fistriv.
Yeah.
Like, that was a marked change in Bob.
Yes, the jobs prior to that were soul crushing.
Yeah. It was definitely, different. So it was great. Like to actually, I mean, it's been really fun, like watching you, just kind of be the more happy you.
Yeah. I'm very happy at that.
I love hanging out with Bob.
Yeah.
I love hanging out with you guys. You guys
Bob's
are good
like-
peeps.
Bob's like the ultimate wingman.
I love-
like always.
So this has been a weird year for me, right? Oh, I don't want to talk about it yet. We'll talk about it later.
I mean, we're in it. If Bob's done,
Yeah,
it's-
we can
it's
go
you.
on to go on to you.
Okay, sure.
Do the thing.
Phil, you sure you want to go first?
No, it's fine. You go.
All right. So it was a weird year for me because the things that went well aren't really like measurable.
That's okay.
Yeah, like right, like we didn't make a lot of the stuff that we intended to make. But
Right. But we made some other stuff.
we made other stuff, and really like that making of stuff has made me better at all of this. Like I mentioned before, like from the success things, like that's what went well, like learning how to be in charge, I guess. I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, I suppose. Getting things organized, getting stuff done, just being more like Phil Vecchione, I suppose.
May not be the best role model for 2016, but sure.
Well, I mean, as bad as things have gone for you, you've been a lot more like me this year.
Yeah. I think I'm good with that. I'm ever the free spirit.
You're much more of a free spirit this year than you were last year.
It's probably not true, or not intentional.
Not-
Let's say.
I feel like your life isn't quite as regimented as it used to be.
That is not actually a good thing.
Yeah, probably not, but I mean, that might be a good learning experience for you.
No, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. So that's what went well for me. Like, I'm just, at all this stuff, I'm just better at it. And that's, I think, good. Like, we don't have those technical snafus that we used to have. Like, I prepare before I just come in and throw a thing at everybody.
Right.
Like, I let people know what's going on. I'm
Yeah.
better at communicating. I'm, like I said, better at delegating. Like, things, I mean, the podcasts have done really well this year.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's what went well. I had a really lousy year at accomplishing things I intended to accomplish. Except for the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, the podcast did what I wanted it to do. It got a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And the network got a lot bigger. But everything writing and design wise, not so much. It was a year of learning, so that was that could have gone all better for me. Like, I could have actually finished one of the 2 things that I wanted to finish this year. That would have been okay. And I guess the thing that surprised me most this year was, I guess this is going to sound a little self-serving or egotistical and maybe a little weird, but how important I am to those people around me. So I never realized how much of an impact I have on the folks around me and just on the world in general. And believe me, the people around me would be fine without me. But I think that I bring a little more positivity to their lives than negative stuff. So that being said, the thing is I've never felt like that before. And I've always felt like I didn't matter, like I wasn't really much of anything. It's a thing that I deal with. It's a personal thing. But this year I felt like I did matter, and I will continue to do so.
Yeah. I mean, I've said this to you before, like there wouldn't be an Encoded if you weren't around. Like you're the person who gave me enough courage to be like, yeah, we're just crazy enough to do this stupid thing together. Like, let's go make some shit. Like we don't know anything about making shit. Let's go do that.
We don't know anything about it.
Right. Like
Yeah.
I would not have done that by myself. And because of that, we did in the past couple of years make stuff.
Yeah, and we're gonna make a lot more this year, I think.
Yeah, and your hand is in almost everything that we make.
Yeah.
That's a contribution that even when you're not the writer of something, the designer of something, your hand is in it everywhere. Relic Hunters wouldn't be the game it was if you hadn't
Absolutely not.
if you hadn't commented on it. Things, even the little things, because you haven't had a chance really to dive into Hydra Hackers, but you fixed a couple things almost right away. So that's a thing. Like, but that's professionally. Personally, I don't know how much of this I would do without you. Like, it's not a totally me thing. Like, it's an us thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's an all of us thing.
Yeah. So the fact that you recognized it this year, I think I can speak among all of your close friends that we've always known that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then there's the other side of that for me, which is how much everybody around me matters to me. So, you know me, I'm going to do it myself kind of guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've always been kind of lonely because of that. And it's just that I guess I have trust issues in some ways. But I also just feel like I'm by myself even though I'm close to people. It's just a lot of people think I open up because I'm willing to talk about a lot of things, but that's just I do. I almost answer any question that anybody asks me, but that's not how people really get to know me.
No, that's how you get to actually collect stories from people.
That's how I get to collect stories from people.
Yeah. I know that about you.
Yeah. But I don't really feel like that anymore. Like I used to. Like it's been a thing for me this year, like transitioning from that to what I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't feel lonely anymore. I mean, the people that are closest to me, the people who are part of our communities, the people who just tune in to listen to us, I mean, they've all given me a lot of strength. Like I've, in my life in the past, I've folded at times and just given up and quit and went and did something else. Like it just wasn't for me. Like it's not for you, Jen, you know?
Right.
Like, I mean, I wanted to quit this year a few times.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
I never did. I love doing this, but when that drive, because, you know, sometimes we all burn out, right? When it starts going away, in the past, that was when I would just give up.
I mean, I can remember 2 times this past year where I talked you off the ledge for this show.
You did. And it's things like that. It's things like the Slack Room for Life. It's things like seeing the Patreon grow. It's things like seeing the numbers. It's things like seeing the people talking to me and the friends that I've made, like Tom, Hobbs, Brett,
you went out to
Emily,
Chicago and hung out with Ken
Height, Darcy,
Yeah.
PK Sullivan. Oh my God, PK Sullivan is such a generous human being. Like it was so great to hang out with him.
Even if you guys were too noisy at the jazz bar.
Even if we were too noisy at the jazz bar, it's fine. So I guess all that is to say that I thought I knew myself pretty well, and this year I learned a lot more than I have in a while. So I guess I didn't know myself as well as I thought I did. So I should probably just keep more of an open mind.
Yeah.
So that's what surprised me this year.
Nice.
What about you?
Things that went well. Hydra Hackers is the first game I've designed from the ground up. Like designed, not relied on people, like went out, waded into the field by myself and took a whack at this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not sucking.
No?
Like, I mean, it clearly needs development. But that first draft is landing a hell of a lot closer to where I want it than past attempts.
Phil, you're an excellent designer. Like, it's not like you can do it all by yourself because you need a developer.
Yeah.
But your design is good. Like, just like Bob's design is good. You guys are both excellent designers. You just need somebody to fix the things that you don't see, and you always have been.
Yep.
And I mean, this is the year where I'm starting to grow comfortable with that idea. Like, I can design a thing. And then I'm also wise enough to know that after I design it, I need to give it to you so that, it can shake all the bits out of
See,
it.
that's the thing. Eventually, we're gonna have to find somebody else aside from me because I can't do everything.
No, we'll find another developer.
Yeah.
But I now specifically know what I'm looking for in a developer, right? Like I need somebody with your skill set. Like I love collaborating with you because, and this is, one of those key things that a future developer is going to need from us is like, there's a no bullshit approach. Like, this thing's wonky. Like you need to fix this. You need to fix this move, or better yet, here, I fixed this move. See how I made it smoother and still kept your intent. And that's just the thing like I need. But this is the first year. Hydra Hackers was the first time where I was like, I didn't just hack a game. Like I actually made like that Hydra hack mechanic is a game unto itself.
It's exactly what I said. I was like, this is a thing.
Yeah. You did. In fact, the first time I showed it to you, you were like, stop, don't show this to anyone until you're like closer to releasing it. So that was good. Another thing that I'm really proud of this year, this show, we've hit a new rhythm during this year, the way this show goes in terms of how we've presented stuff and the flow of the show. And it's really good.
And I'm really, it's really you two. Like I do stuff too, right? Still, but I mean, this used to be a lot more me than it is now.
I mean, behind the scenes stuff, probably 2/3 of the main segments I write.
Yes.
And it used to be that we had a very light outline, but we in this year have gone to a much more extensive, like I write out the episode.
You do.
Yeah.
And when I have to, I get in there and I do it too, or I add my little bits. But even then, like I am so busy with everything else that it's not always viable for me to get in there.
Right. And I love doing it. Like it's by no means a chore. Like I love doing it.
Yeah, but that's new for this year.
It is new. And it's because it used to be like, oh, we'll put a few bullet points around, then we'll kick around the idea on the show. But instead now it's like, I'm going to write it out and it's going to be this like structured discussion. And then you add on to that and it works, right? It works in a way I'm really happy with.
And Bob is taking over stuff on the back end too for the like the social
The
media
bottom half of the
depository.
show,
That's I used to do all of that all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. The other one, Panda's Talking Games. Like I'm super happy with the show for all the reasons I talked about before. But it does. I do the same thing for it that I do for this show. Like I write out most of that show. Like the division of labor is I put the show together, Senda edits it, and I'm way comfortable with that because neither one of those is a small amount of work, and I can write a show.
You do the pre-production. She does the post-production.
Exactly, and it totally works for us, right? Like, it just that show is immensely fun to do, and I think that there's actually solid advice in every show.
There is.
Yeah, it's a nice balance. It's funny and it's informative, and actually the way Senda edits it, it gets to be both in different phases. So it doesn't get interrupted being silly when it's trying to be serious. It does a really good job of that middle piece. The show, like the actual show, is tight, and then at the end of it, you get the sillies. And then if you're a patron, you get more sillies.
You do get more sillies.
So I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of how it came out. It wasn't easy to get it done this year, like week to week, but minus one miss, I think we pretty much hit it week to week. So I'm really proud with that. Things that could have been better. This was a really hard year for me. Professionally, this year was soul crushing with 2 projects that really brought me to about the edge of questioning whether I was in the right profession, whether I was working in the right place. A lot of that. Like, it was really hard for me professionally. It was a very rough year. It's only slightly better now. But I think you guys know there were points of this year that were absolutely awful for me professionally. It was very hard. And there's no way that doesn't spill into other stuff. Like, it was eating spoons at like an alarming rate.
Yeah.
Personally, and again, this is kind of it goes hand in hand with professionally. Like, personally, this was a really hard year for me in terms of anger which had a lot to do with professionalism, my professional life, depression. I was not always happy. I was not always wanting to put a show together, do a show. Like I was hanging on. Like, I mean, this show got me through. There's a point, you and I had a discussion about Hydro Hackers one day, because you were very eager. You wanted to jump in and do stuff right away with it. And I had to tell you that as much as I wanted that, like, I needed to hang on to Hydro Hackers. Like, it was the carrot that was kind of dragging me through stuff. And so, in a lot of ways, it still is. And what I've realized is that it's actually a form of control. Like, and this is the surprise part, right? Like, I'll just segue right into this. So this is a year I would not have thought if you had told me last year that I would be in therapy. But I am. And I've been for months now. And it is, it's really good and it's really hard. That process is not easy. The number of revelations I've had have been pretty profound, but those revelations at times have been unsettling, upsetting. I mean, some of them have been informative. Some of them have connected dots. I think I understand myself now in a way that I never have before. Like, I have a much better understanding of why I do certain things. Like where my preparedness comes from, where that kind of compulsive OCD behavior about planning and stuff comes from, things about eating, buying stuff, game design, all of it. Like, I can actually attribute a lot of things to a couple of key points in my life. And that's pretty frightening in some ways, to have those revelations and kind of understand yourself. And then it's pretty amazing, like, to actually now be like, oh, that's totally why I do that. Like, and part of it is also acceptance. Like, I mean, in a nutshell, all of that stuff, right down to GMing, like, I GM for the same reason. I GM for a sense of control, right? I am hyper prepared because the opposite of that, it makes me very anxious. Like, there is a small anxious kid inside me that has a lot to do with my childhood that is compensating through all of that. But here's the thing, that hyper preparedness made me super successful, like, at work, and it's allowed me to do things like this and encode it and stuff like that. So it's not going anywhere. Like, I wouldn't get rid of the anxious kid in me. I'm accepting it. Like, that's who I am. And that's what it needs to survive. So that was my surprise this year. Like, I did not think this would be a year of self-discovery. And it has been. And, yeah, it's been a year.
It's been a year.
Yep.
So
Bob, what do you want to do next year?
What do I want to do next year? Well, did I write some stuff in here?
No, you didn't. That's why I asked you.
Did I leave that? Okay.
Take that.
One thing that I want to do is
sell Relic Hunters.
Well, yeah, I would love to sell Relic Hunters, but it's going to happen. There will be a game for sale to the public in some avenue with my name on it. It's going to happen. Quite likely inside the first quarter, maybe inside the first month. Who knows? But it's going to happen, and I'm going to keep making games. There's been a couple of times where I felt bad early on. Like when we first started working on Core Crisis, I'm like, well, I've got this idea for kind of a spiritual successor to Relic Hunters, and I've got this other idea, and I made that card game about, publishing, and I have all these ideas, and they're churning through my skull, and I felt bad, like, oh, I'm working on something else when I should be working on this, and it's like, but you can only work on certain things so much at a given time.
That's true.
And then there's like, well, we need to play test Core Crisis some more. So me beating on it while we haven't play tested the current version more isn't going to help. So it's like, you know what? Make another game. If there's an idea there, write it down. If it looks like it might have legs to do a little development on, do a little development on it. So I'm going to keep making games. I'm going to design because I want to be a game designer. And
I think the thing you need to change vocabulary wise is not I want to be, I am.
I am a game designer.
You are.
And now I want to be a published game designer.
Fair enough.
And I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna do it. I'm
Yep.
gonna do it. And then beyond that, the other thing, I want
us to write stories.
I want to write more stories myself. Yeah, and I said on Slack on our private channel, one of our private channels, that I had an idea for something that I think we could have some fun with writing some stories.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the story thing I think is gonna go. So
Nice.
that's where I want to be.
Phil,
Yeah.
you've discovered many things about yourself
I did.
this year. And you want to talk about it some more? You good? Because we could talk about some more. I needed a breather to process everything you just said.
No. No, I mean, if we're talking about next year, if 2016 was like the year of self-discovery, 2017 has to be the year that I actually put that discovery to use. Like, I need to be more happy. Like, I need to be happier in my life, and there are things that I need to do and change.
Yeah, it's always good to understand. It's good to come up with a plan or to understand the things that you need to understand, but now you have to execute.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. At this point, I don't even. I have like 12% of a plan. I mean, that's a small.
It's funny,
joke.
man.
Thanks. No, I mean,
I am Groot.
Because what it means, like at this point, is like now understanding myself much better. I can kind of redefine what it is I need. Like, I'll tell you the truth that project management is actually a terrible occupation for me.
Yeah.
So one of the things I've learned through self-discovery is that caretaking is a big deal to me. That I like to be helpful to people, and I like to help people. Like, I like to help people be better. And so in a way, Encoded allows me to do that, right? Like, I've gotten to help you.
Yes.
You know, and that's and I love that, right? Like, I love being able to do that.
I might be the case study for you in helping people be better.
And the problem with project management is that nobody directly reports to me. So I use all the preparedness I have and the ability to plan, but I can't actually help anyone. And it's super frustrating. Like, project management kills spoons for me because emotionally I am frustrated that I can't help people. Where something like management, like actually managing a team of people, would be incredible for me.
Yeah.
Like, that would be a thing where I would have people.
That's what you do. It's what you do for us.
Right. And I would develop them, and I would, defend them and take care of them. And
It's what you do for me.
and so I realized, like, that's actually that's a problem. Like, I'm technically good at project management, but I pay a heavy cost emotionally when I do it. And so I have to I need a plan.
I know that your job will have you moving towards tenure very soon. Are you allowed to move towards management even if you are tenured?
Because there's a certain level of management that you have to give up your tenure, but middle management is not that. And I would be perfectly comfortable wedged right into middle management. Like, I do not need to be a CIO. I could easily fit in a number of slots below that.
So is that what you're going to aim for then?
Yeah, I am. I think that in the next couple of years, I have to figure out a way out of project management and into actual resource, like actual department management. Like, I do. I think for my own sanity, I have to start making that move.
Now you have like 24% of a plan.
Yeah, it's twice my plan. Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing. So that's the thing I have to do, right? Like, I have to, like, now I understand the stuff about myself. I now have to adjust my life so that that I'm doing that stuff, because the not doing it is taking its toll.
It's tricky how your old life causes so much friction though to your new life. I know that from personal experience.
Well, yeah, because
You set yourself up a certain way.
well, you set yourself up a certain way because you think you work a certain way.
It's therapy time, everybody. We're having
Yeah.
a conversation.
And then when you realize that that's not how things work, you now have to go back and be like, okay, well, now what do I do?
That's right.
And some of that is easier than others.
Some of it is much easier than others.
All right, so that's the deep part. Things I want to do this year. I want a manuscript of Hydro Hackers that is ready for kickstarting. If we do not kickstart Hydro Hackers in 2017, then I want it so done that when you kickstart it in 2018, you can basically download the manuscript and start kicking it around.
I'd like the sound of that.
Yeah, I mean, I know how much more writing there is to do, and I know there's a ton more playtesting that needs to be done.
All year.
I'm ready. Which goes into the next thing. I need to game more, and more consistently. We do a pretty good job on Sundays, but we've been hit and miss. I also am not gaming online. Like, you have a Wednesday group.
I do.
I'm fairly jealous of your Wednesday group.
You could have a group like that if you wanted.
Well, that's the thing. I'm going to.
Yeah.
Mine's probably going to be on a Thursday, but I'm going to because it like I love gaming here, but I have so many friends who are not here.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally get that. That's why. I mean, I have just so many friends at this point. Like
Right.
it's like I play on Mondays every other week now when I can with Hobbs and that crew playing BX, and I play, Thursdays with Jen and Bridget and Steve. We play board games and stuff
Right.
every other week. I mean, there's a lot of gaming that I do, and it's important. Like it's fun, right? But it's also work.
Well, yeah.
There's a reason for it. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to combine my need for online gaming and gaming with people with my Hydro Hackers playtest.
yeah, there you go.
Because then I can do both. I'll still be able to run a fun campaign, but I also need to run a campaign to see some of the Hydro Hacker pieces.
And they'll let you figure out how to run that game online, so you can tell people how to play that game over the internet.
Yes.
It's very clever.
Yes. So that is happening. I actually have a group of people in mind, and I'm starting to slowly pull them together. Some of them will be no surprise. Obviously, Senda is part of that group.
Oh yeah.
In an attempt that before she ever runs the game on, she's a super geek, that I can actually make sure that she actually knows the rules to that game.
And I'll start running it with my my every other Wednesday group.
Yep. So part of that, part of my immediate need is to actually get enough of the background and tone of that game written so that I can give it to you to go forth and run.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't exist right now.
It really doesn't.
Yeah. So anyway, I think those are my three main things, right? So there's no way I can game as much as you do, but I am jealous at.
Don't be jealous. It's not,
I am though. Like,
it's not easy.
But I mean, like, there's so many things. Like, I stopped buying board games because I couldn't find a way to play them in 2016, and I'm like, I love board games, and I do want to play more board games, but I stopped going to
Roncon.
I stopped going to RonCon, and I want to go, but something always gets in my way. And part of it sometimes is encoded, right? Like, sometimes it's like, nope, I should be writing. Like, I shouldn't be playing a game, I should be writing. But I have vowed, I'm playing in your Sunday game. I'm running a Sunday game locally.
Yep.
And I'm going to start a bi-weekly online game. And then that will have to be enough. And that's not overly ambitious, but it'll give me enough to actually do stuff.
Well, there's other ways that we could play games too, man. Like, I mean, we play Sunday mornings too.
Oh, I'm sorry, and I have Sunday
Yeah.
Swords. So
Yep.
I mean, that's not a ridiculous amount of. I mean, that would be enough. Like, if I add this new one in, and I get the Sunday group tightened up to an actual campaign, I would be happy. And let's be honest, I need to game, not professionally. I need to game because, and this is one of those things from therapy. Like, I'm the most me playing a game or running a game. Like, if you really want to know me, don't find me at like a project management conference. Like, that's work fill. Like, that's a very filtered, distilled version of me. If you want to really meet me, sit and hang out at a table with me. See me at a con. I am the most me possible in those situations, and it's really spoon giving. Like, I love the Sunday night group with Tony and Dave and Bob. Like, we're playing Action Movie World, and
Yeah.
it's so spoon giving. Anyway, so I need to game more consistently in 2017. Okay, that's good. Want to do games of the year?
I didn't do mine.
Oh, did you not?
Oops.
Nope.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought we were in the other section.
Nope.
Please, I'm
Nope.
sorry. I apologize.
That's
I really
okay.
thought we were in the other section.
No, it's
still.
fine.
Okay.
I want to finish the Airy Peaks this year, like early this year. That's a thing. That's what I want to do. I'm going to write that jamming book at some point this year because that is a thing that I need to do because I feel terrible about not having it done. And as soon as I get mad at myself, that's when I always get something done.
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of how I
Your
work.
Popeye moment.
It is my Popeye moment. My anger is my spinach. Anger at myself.
Send Popeye was a cartoon character.
Even a movie character played by Robin Williams.
Mark your bingo boards.
Robin Williams was a comedian.
Oh, that's brutal.
You know I'll pay for that later.
Yeah,
right?
you really
Yeah,
will.
There'll be a thing.
Come on, man.
Come on. Why
Come
you
on,
why you
man.
gotta do that kind of
Now,
stuff?
the fact that if I mean, I wouldn't blame
Oh.
her for not knowing that Robin Williams played Popeye. Like, I don't know how many people actually know Robin Williams played Popeye.
Yeah, that was one of the low points in his career.
I
but
love
yeah,
that movie. It's so bad.
It's so terrible.
Oh, it's not good. I mean, the cartoon I remember.
Oh, I
you
love
know,
the cartoon, man.
Yeah, the cartoon was. I mean, that cartoon wasn't young when I was a kid.
No, it wasn't.
I
No.
feel like I'm in bounds for doing that one. For
Yeah, it's the Robin Williams one that was bad.
that's
man.
a little on the outside.
Come on, it's Robin Williams. He was Peter Pan.
Well, yeah, way better to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
He was Mork from Ork.
he
was
was. He was.
See, Mork and Mindy was a show that was on.
There you
that's
go.
worth, and that actually took place in Denver.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yes,
show
it
was,
did.
It was a comedy show.
It was.
It didn't really hit its stride until Jonathan Winter came on. As the
No,
baby.
that was when it.
You think that jumped the
that's-
shark?
That's when it started to go.
Oh, I
down.
thought Jonathan Winters is hilarious. We need to go out and move quickly.
Okay.
Please, Chris, keep going.
The last thing, I guess, like those are the two things that I wanted. That if I can do those two things, I will feel pretty good about myself this year. I suppose the last thing is I would like to be a self-sufficient, self-employed person this year. That would make me very, very happy.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
By the end of the year, I mean, yes, that. I mean, if I can accomplish those three things, I will say that it has been probably a pretty good year.
Nice.
I mean, if I'm self-sufficient and self-employed person, that means I've done something right.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about games of the year.
All right. So seriously, people, we just had a whole lot of self-reflection. Obviously, this podcast is still about gaming, so let's talk a little bit about gaming.
Yeah, let's do that. So what are our board games of the year? So I'll go first.
Go ahead.
So the Castles of Mad King Ludwig. I got
choice.
this as a present for my wedding from Tom Flanagan. It is the best thing I've played in 2016.
I still have not played it.
It is super good. I love it a lot. It's taken the place of Alhambra for me. I'd rather play this than Alhambra all the time. A runner-up was Five Tribes. That game is also fantastic.
Yeah. That's the Mancala
Yep, you pick up the meeples and then you drop them in squares,
Yep.
and then you take special actions. It's a point salad game.
Yep.
Ludwig is sort of a point salad game too. What about you, Phil?
My runner-up was Sheriff of Nottingham.
Mm-hmm.
I just consistently enjoy this game.
It's fun.
Cocks in a bag, man.
Oh my god! So yes, at a Catacon, I probably had my funniest. The only time I've ever had to play Sheriff of Nottingham with an X card. It was hilarious. I mean, first of all, I rigged it. So it was Nikki and I, and then it was Senda and Emily. And I kind of knew that putting Senda and Emily in a bluffing game would have its own hilarity. I was not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Well,
but
Nikki's devious.
well, yeah. It was great. It was like the perfect mix.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I've played Sheriff of Nottingham a bunch of times at home. I've played it with friends. I just thoroughly enjoy that game because I think it's hilarious. And then my favorite for the year is that stupid card game, Tempura.
Tempura.
I have played that game. Only Relic Hunters I've played more this year than Tempura. I've played Tempura for everyone. Like, my kids play it. My parents played it last night. I've played it at a Catacon, Gen Con. It's all Drew Smith's fault.
Good job, Drew.
Yep.
Drew Smith brought that game to Mexico, and we played that game completely lit
Yes, we did.
on a rainbow of drinks.
We really
Because
did.
I don't even remember what we were drinking. We drank them all. But that game just makes me laugh. By the way, I had a crushing move yesterday. It was the boldest move I've ever pulled off in Tempura.
Yeah.
With only one indigestion card in it, I took a 24 card draw.
And you didn't get an indigestion?
I didn't get the indigestion, and then I sat for the rest of the game with like this handful of cards, fending everything off until and first of all, 24 card draw, you kill like half the deck.
That's true.
So the deck got super dangerous, and I never had to draw from it again.
Yep.
Like I just sat back and like fended everyone off. It's so good. Anyway, love that stupid game. From ILO, it's only like $15. And if you're looking for a light card game that is easy to teach to a wide range of people and plays great whether you are sober or intoxicated.
It's true.
Can't say enough about this game.
What about you, Bob?
Well, Tempura is actually my runner-up, which it's kind of a 1A runner-up. But for me, the number one is Suro of the Seas.
Man, you got so much play out of that stupid game.
Holy
Like,
crap!
it's
I've
a
played
good
that game so many
Is
times.
it radically different from Sora?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I love Sora.
The original Suro was fun, but it's really, really basic. When you look at Suro
Yes.
of the Seas,
Yeah.
it adds a whole nother dimension.
I'm just gonna go get this game because,
Yeah.
like, if you're telling me it's like Sora but cooler than Sora,
yeah.
It's like if you take Forbidden Island and step
Oh.
up to Forbidden Desert.
okay, I'm in. Sold.
Yeah.
I'll go buy a copy.
Yeah, good times.
Someone bring that out sometime so I can play it.
Yeah.
I feel like Bob has it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob, bring that out sometime.
I will.
Oh, you know what's a distant runner up for me because I just haven't played it enough times yet. Red 7.
I haven't played it.
Oh my
ever.
god, I'm gonna show you that game and you're gonna be like, I fucking love this game.
Yeah, none of the co-op showed up on my list this year at all. Like I was like, I played a lot of Time Stories. That game's okay.
I didn't even unwrap my Pandemic legacy.
I know it's a depressing thing.
It is depressing and it has a lot to do with this year.
Yeah,
Dumpster fire.
dumpster fire.
Computer or console?
I played a large amount of Tecmo Bowl
Still,
this year.
you're playing that game?
Yeah, I played a lot of Tecmo Bowl
Nice.
this year. So I mean, that's what I do when I just need a break.
So awesome.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
For me, the beginning half of the year, I played a lot of Minecraft, and then it dropped off. I just haven't played too much console stuff. The kids have Dante like pretty much owns my Xbox now. Like I bought it for me, and like he totally took it over. All it runs is like sports games, and if it's not running sports games, Florence and Rose are playing like Lego games. Like
Yeah.
I give it. I'm gonna just go buy another console. Like I'm just gonna go get another TV and a console and break off. Like,
I feel like you just bring the console down here, hook it up to that monitor right there, and play off of that.
well, I know we weren't gonna talk about Christmas presents, but one of the presents I got
Yeah.
was the throwback Atari.
Oh, sweet. I have an Atari flashback too.
Yeah.
I really want
Nice.
the Nintendo one.
I do too, but like I could just hook it to that monitor.
Nice, very
Like,
nice.
Just come down here. I'm gonna play Adventure.
Oh, there you go.
I got that
played
thing.
I played Pac-Man on mine.
I opened up the box and instantly the inside of my hand here between my
Started getting sore.
yeah, because it's like as soon as I picked up the controller, I was like, oh god, yes, the Atari joystick, the least ergonomic thing that's ever been invented.
I love the Atari joystick.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Anyway,
Yep.
what about you, Bob?
Minecraft all the way.
Yeah.
I'm not a
I
console
know.
guy.
And you haven't actually stopped. Like you've actually played.
I play with a couple of guys from work, and we have a server running, so we all jump on the same server, and we run around and do things and have fun, and we try different mod packs. We're now on like the third different mod pack since we started running a server,
Nice.
and there's some really fun stuff out there. So just doing that.
So, next thing is app game. So for me, the app version of Puerto Rico, the board game.
Nice.
I've played that thing probably 100 times. I love that thing. I have a lot of board game apps on my iPad.
I do too. I actually have a lot of them as well.
You're actually going to say my probably my runner-up, a game that I have a ton of fun with.
Okay, so my runner-up this year was a game called Hackers. That was like a little resource, like it was like you built like it's like a Civ building game.
Yeah.
But it was like in like cyberspace. The reason it's my runner-up because I actually spent a little money on the game. Plus, I played it a ton for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I got to a point at a high enough level where I basically discovered there's no way to stop from being hacked. Like once you get a certain set of programs, you can't stop anyone. There was a point in the lower tier of the game where if you were smart and you laid out your network correctly, you could fend off attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this like worm program that once you acquire the worm program, you basically just raid systems.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, it was like, oh, this game's no longer fun.
Yeah, the
like,
game
There's no
ceased.
strategy to
Yeah.
this game. And so I I had to give it my runner-up because I spent a lot of time playing it until I got to that level. And I enjoyed it immensely until I got to that level, and then I was just like, I'm done. But my favorite game, and this game is frustrating as shit, but I love it, is Out There Omega.
Remember that game that I showed you when I was like hundreds of days?
You were like killed compared to
I'm
what I
still
get
not
to.
dead.
Shut up.
I'm at like 350 or
Oh
400
my god,
days.
I'm so jealous. For people who don't know, Out There Omega is a sci-fi game, but it is a roguelike.
Yeah.
Where you are traveling from it's completely generated on the fly. You're traveling from system to system, and you have a ship, and you have to manage your fuel, your oxygen, and your hull.
Yes.
At the same time, you also have to develop technologies that make your ship better, and you are trying to get back to Earth. And you really have to like work the resources of this thing, because if you run out of any one of those,
You die.
you die, and the game's over. There's no restart.
You start from the beginning.
Right, you start from the beginning, or you generate a new system and you start going. But it is,
It's basically a resource management text-based game, but
Yeah.
it's got really pretty graphics.
it's got pretty graphics.
And the whole thing is a graphical interface.
It is absolutely a roguelike. Like, if you like roguelikes, just go play this game. And I actually love roguelikes.
There is a story buried in this game,
Right.
and I am like learning it.
Yeah. Have you unearthed enough of the language?
Oh yeah.
Okay. See, that's
Not
so.
only that, there's a point in the game where you get somewhere and things start attacking you.
So
Like,
I have a lot more to go in this.
There
game.
there are other spacefaring races out there that shoot at you.
That's awesome. Like, I keep this game on my iPad because if I have a moment, I'm like, let me play a game. Oh, the chat room's saying Faster Than Life. FTL is also very similar.
Faster Than Light is a very similar
I've
game.
played FTL as well. I like it. I like it just the same. Although I think I feel a little sadder because in FTL, you have little guys in the ship and they have names and
Yeah.
they can die.
They can die.
So you suddenly feel bad because Jim didn't make it.
Bomb, you don't play app games?
I didn't fill it in because I couldn't think of an app game that I play, but I forgot that there's a couple, because ever since I had a phone that could do apps, I had a Sudoku game of some sort on there because I like to do the puzzly kind of things to keep my brain fresh. And
As you do when you turn 50.
yes, I mean, when you get older, you got to keep the brain moving because
There we go.
otherwise, you're going to break down. So, but I realized that I have a couple of app games that I put on over the course of the last year. So my runner-up, I'm going to call, is a game called Logo Quiz. And there's a couple different versions of it that I think are independent. They're similar games, but they're essentially the same. But what it does is it shows you a product logo with pieces missing. And you have like the blank spaces like on Wheel of Fortune. So how big the name is and if it's broken up into multiple words and stuff like that. And you have a bunch of letters at the bottom and you have to try and figure out what the logo is. And you look at them and some of them are like, oh, well, that's Burger King. Oh, come on, that's Red Bull. They're obvious. And then other ones you rack your brain and you're like, what the frick is that? And you start doing Google searches for things. There's like a couple of hint features.
Nice.
I
I
think I would actually like this.
But it's mind-numbing. Like, it's like, oh, you're killing me. What is this? And you can actually spend money and pay to
Oh, God.
to get. But I don't like in-app purchases. Nah, that's not for me.
That's not for me either.
I occasionally.
But yeah, this game. I mean, when you start running out of clues, like for every one you get, you start accumulating more clues.
Right.
But then you'll find yourself burning through them on a tough one that you can't figure out, and then you'll be like, nuts to that. I've gone to the point where I've taken my camera or my machine and done a screenshot of
Yeah.
the logo and then a Google image search to try and find it because it's frustrated me so much.
Yeah.
So that's Logo Quiz, and then. There's a game that I found. I don't know what the actual title is officially. It's XXI, but they may call it 21. I don't know for sure if it's called XXI or if it's called 21. But essentially, it's another puzzle thing with a similarity to Sudoku, where you've got a grid and there's numbers, and some of them are not filled in. There's a question mark, so you don't know what the number is.
Yeah.
And you have to get the 3 rows and the 3 columns to total 21.
You're okay.
So you have to rearrange
Oh, nice.
the things, and again, it keep the brain sharp, and
Nice.
it's quite enjoyable.
Excellent. Let's move on to role-playing games.
Yeah, the most important subject.
Yeah. Chris, what's your runner-up for role-playing game?
Dungeon World.
Right, and so I was just gonna say, be clear, it's not a game that actually came out in the year
No,
2016.
no. As I mentioned many times, this is not games that have come out in 2016. These are games that we enjoyed the most in 2016.
Yes,
Dungeon World's my runner-up.
I completely see why.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We played the Airy Peaks.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And my game of the year is, and for the second year in a row, because I looked at last year's,
Yep.
is 5th edition D&D.
Hey.
I've had so much fun playing this game.
And writing for it.
And writing for it. Playing it on Wednesday nights with Brett and Emily and Tom and Mark at first and now Kevin. Like, it's such a good game, and also playing it on the other Wednesday nights with Jen and Bridget and Steve, and Tim plays in that game.
Nice.
And then Katie and Carl. Like, it's a lot of fun.
Bob and I are actually going to combine ours. We have the exact same runner-up and favorite.
You do. Which
I actually have to tweak mine just a little bit. Because
okay. Well, then please.
I
Swords is right on the outside of Dungeon World. If not for the Airy Peaks, like, it would have been Swords.
I completely brain farted on Dungeon World because we finished that campaign and it was epic and it was awesome.
Oh, I didn't, and that's why we have another topic coming because because I purposely did that because I was having trouble with where to put Airy Peaks.
Yeah, Airy Peaks, Dungeon World. That's got a special place.
Yep,
it's like its own list now. But beyond that, then there's and now I forget which order I put it in.
Your runner-up is the same as mine, which is
Swords Without Master.
Swords Without Master.
That game is so much fun, and I just love the dynamic of the whole thing and how it works.
I've played it so many times this year. I've gotten to play it with our group. I got to play it at QCC with Senda and Emily. I created those flow charts. I bought these big chunky dice. I love this game, and I will run it. I ran it for the Sunday night group one night. Like, I love that game.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very, as we've talked about, a very elaborate pass the stick storytelling, but in a way that, man, I just love.
Yeah.
Like, I've had so much fun with the characters, the world that we created.
Yeah, I love where the story's going right now in the game that we're playing together.
Absolutely.
That's loads of fun. I'm glad I got to be able to jump in on that.
And then our number one choice, Action Movie World.
You guys love this stupid game.
Oh my God, it's so much. It's part of it is the people we're playing with too, because playing with Dave and Tony, I mean, anytime you get the Rainmaker in there, that's one thing. And Dave just takes this game to another level as well.
I mean, it's the genre of game that you guys all enjoy so much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we played it in Mexico. And loved it.
Yeah.
I've run it a couple times. I mean, our Daytona Nights game.
Yeah.
I mean, there are times where I have like tears in my eyes because it's so damn funny.
Yeah.
And not funny. It's funny because it's comical, but it's sometimes so funny because we nailed that genre.
Oh yeah.
Like that 80s cop show thing, like we own it, and it's so good. Now, it's not a game that I'm hot on playing campaign wise, but it is rapidly becoming my go-to one-shot game. Yeah,
definitely one shot, and maybe like a couple back-to-back 2-3
arc. Yeah.
But yeah.
In TV terms, movie of the week or miniseries, like the classic, the 80s miniseries.
Yep.
But not anything longer than that.
Yeah.
And I do.
Good times.
I love this stupid game, and I just got the expansion, Deleted Scenes.
More playbooks.
Which has the child star.
Yep.
And the old codger.
The old codger.
So you get like the Clint Eastwood.
Oh God.
Yeah, they're great, and you actually play them in conjunction with other like you graduate in 4 sessions. The child actor has to pick another playbook,
and then after 4 sessions, somebody probably has to go to the old codger. Yeah.
And then it has a bunch more scripts.
Oh, nice.
So it has a superhero script.
Oh, nice.
It's still missing the one that I'm going to go right now. Like, I'm just going to go design it and get it done, which is the hostage movie.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, love Action Movie World.
Because if you can't play Under Siege, what are you doing?
You can't play Die Hard.
If you can't play Die Hard, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Right. Anyway, all right. So our last topic, which we added in for
and
this
by
year,
we, Phil,
which is how I do this, was most memorable gaming moments this year, because we talked about games we liked to play, but I wanted us to have a chance to talk about actual things that we got to do in game.
Phil, go first.
So let me start with the reason I created this, which was to talk about Dungeon World, because this year we finished the Airy Peaks.
We did.
And that was huge. And it was this epic dragon battle that was insane. Like, it was well written. The actual session was completely nail biting. Like, it wasn't clear who was going to live, who was going to die. And it came down to like the last moments. People died, right. And it wrapped up a fantastic story, and Corrin had this like cool ending. I mean, everybody had a cool ending, but I was really happy with.
And you would have died too if Tony didn't save you.
Yep.
And I think I order Tony to bring her back.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I really liked how it ended, and I really just overall enjoyed the Airy Peak. So that was huge for me. So that was my first one. My second one was a one shot that we just got to play out of the blue, which was we got to play Lady Blackbird.
We did.
Rich Rogers.
Yep.
Hosted it for us because he loves to run that game.
He does.
And
it's
it was
part of his ladder of insanity.
Yep. And it was you and I, Jim McClure, and Senda.
Yep.
And I loved this game.
It was great.
Like this game was just, and the beauty of it is you actually can go listen to it because it's on YouTube. It was one of my most memorable gaming experiences for the year. Like that last scene.
I still have the audio. I could actually release it.
Yeah, that last scene, where the captain's like he's talking
to the Pirate King.
To the Pirate King about Lady Blackbird.
Yeah,
like,
it's really good.
I loved that scene. So yeah, that one, and then my last one, at a Catacon, I got to run Hydra Hackers for my own all-star table, which was the Flanagan brothers, Senda and Emily, Darcy and Nikki. And I don't think I learned anything about the mechanics of that game in that session. It just was it was just 4 hours of awesome.
That sounds like a hell of a table.
The hack was great. I mean, poor Darcy, she played the Neighborhood Watch playbook, but she went to go fight, like, they were in this facility and she went to go fight this guard, and all she did was roll under 6 the whole time. So it went from like being Black Widow to something far less graceful.
to being on the ground, getting kicked in the face.
Yeah. But it was great, and they were amazing, and I just loved, like, that table was fantastic. I mean, really, it was awesome. So.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you?
Me.
Yeah.
So the Airy Peaks finale, for all the reasons that you said.
Oh, 3 years, man.
Actually, I really enjoyed the whole that whole arc leading up to that end too, when you guys came back to the mountain, and it was all different.
Yeah.
And it was quiet and it was creepy.
I mean, and it was building up, right? Like the souls were being drawn off, like the time was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good.
I also liked fighting the one of the 7 greatest swordsmen in the world.
God, that fight.
Love that guy. That was like another like Tony being Tony.
Well, and to make it worse, that guy comes back in the finale.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I dealt with him as well as I could, right? Like,
you did.
He shows up possessing Dave on the side of a mountain, and he's like, "We're gonna have this sword fight," and I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" And I just turn the ground underneath him ice, and he slides off the mountain.
He does. It was pretty fun.
It was a very Indiana Jones pulling the gun on the swordsman move from Raiders.
I'm like, the world is about to end.
I don't have time for you right now.
Right, this is the shit you want to get into.
He was mad. You killed his love.
I did. And
you killed him, even though he killed you, but you didn't die.
I was pretty terrible, actually. Like, it wasn't that I didn't have it coming.
No, that's true.
I totally had it coming.
There are many times where you could have rolled dice and not survived.
If I remember correctly, Corrin survived the gates 3 times.
He did, in fact.
Yeah.
Yep.
3 times he went to the gates and came back. Like, that's, again, just a piece of how awesome Corrin
3 times he falls.
4 times he gets up.
That's true.
Anyway.
So I guess the last thing is, every time Bob and I made some conclusion about a game when we were making games and how to make them better, like, designing with Bob has been freeing and educational and wonderful this year. Like, making board games is a thing that I never thought I was any good at, and now I realize I actually am.
Yeah, I mean, I love watching you guys.
Fun working with you.
Yeah,
I love watching you guys work on Core Crisis. Like, it's not a game I'm actually involved in. Like, I was involved in Relic Hunters. I'm not involved in Core Crisis, but I've seen you guys work on it, so it's fun to watch.
Yeah, and Circle 6.
Yeah, that showed up out of nowhere.
Yeah, the publishing. You haven't even seen the publishing game. I'm pubbed.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, those are probably my 2 biggest things. Like, that was great for me. Like, every time pitching that game at Gen Con was pretty fun and nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
The first time I've ever done that. What about you?
I'm gonna put like 4 things all like up on equal footing. They all stand out for me. They're all memorable in slightly different ways, but the finale arc of Dungeon World, the Airy Peaks, that arc was awesome. Those moments throughout that whole stretch, there was just so many moments where it was like, oh yes, playing Tempura for the first time drunk in Mexico.
Oh man,
Oh God.
Was awesome.
Yeah, that was a lot of
we
fun.
were in Mexico this year, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We were all in Mexico together this
we were
year.
in Mexico.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Getting to bring out my thespian in Action Movie World
Oh my
in
God,
Mexico.
also in Mexico.
In Mexico. That was a blast.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
great.
Loved
there were
that.
about 4 times during that game I actually broke down laughing. Like
That was
I
good
just
stuff.
I had to put my head down.
Yeah.
I had to give up the lead. I was like, "You should take the lead, Bob."
That was a little bit of a surprise, but I ran with that too.
That Lasers and Feelings game in Mexico was
That
really
laser
fun.
was really fun.
Yes.
With your brother.
Yep.
Oh man.
That was
And
really
Drew, who regressed into it.
Oh my God,
to an
Drew.
Englishman.
Oh, our geologist. Oh my God. Yes. Oh, that's so funny.
And then finally, most recently, playing Circle of Six with my family, sitting around the table on Christmas night and throwing this brand new thing out, explaining how to play it, going around the table, and they're, let's go another round. Let's go another round. 15 rounds of this game. And I'm like, wow.
A game you and I made.
It's like awesome.
Yeah. I can't. I so excited. Like we are going to push that one actually to the front of publishing.
I'm like trying
two-
to
there are-
temper my excitement to
there-
be like, hey, Tim Jones, can you make some
There
stuff
are 2
for this?
things. There are 2 things that have to be released before Circle of
Yes.
Six, and those 2 things are
Imminent.
imminent.
So close.
Yeah. Anyway,
Did we mention the other thing?
Which other thing? The
That's-
Trash
that's-
book?
Yeah.
the Trash book is
Well,
coming, man.
we can't talk about it right now because I'm actually to the point where
I know, you gotta cut the show, man.
Me being
Yeah.
an idiot saying we're going to be short today. We're,
Surprise.
We're really long, which
Challenge
means,
accepted.
yeah, which means if we don't finish this soon, I can't actually fit it in one file.
I know.
All right, let's do this then.
All right.
So cut what you need to cut.
All right. We're only going to do 2 things. We're going to
Okay.
do community games of the year, and we're going to do the weight loss challenge because those are important.
Fair enough.
All right. So, hey, community, this is what you said for games of the year. So, Austin Lemke, Videla-wise, Fury was his personal favorite. I'm not actually sure what that is. I assume that is because it was the first category. That is a board game.
Oh, he is Vidya. Is that what he's
Yeah.
Vidya?
Yeah, Vidya
Vidya
Y.
game. Video.
Oh,
Vidya.
video-wise,
Yeah.
Vidya. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Furry
It took me a second to figure
was
that
his
out.
personal favorite. I think that's the game where you play a cat.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that, but app-wise, Danmaku Unlimited 2 is still pretty much the best. I don't know what that is. Numenera was a big thing for Austin role-playing game-wise.
Nice.
And Fury, the Furier rank S was a thing, too. Although this is a weird... Sorry, I can't read it all. Fury the Burst, Furier rank S rank is something else. He was letting us know that's where we can go and see what Fury is. Eric Farmer, in board games, Ticket to Ride Europe has been blowing up. It's a great gateway game, but it's also a great game.
Oh, my son just got that for Christmas.
In console games, it's Chrono Trigger forever, always. I love Chrono Trigger. I try to play Chrono Trigger once every couple of years because it's that good. RPGs. As a GM, Knights Black Agents, the Dracula dossier is really stretching me as a GM. It's got so many knobs and gears, and it just works.
You're welcome.
As a player, Urban Shadows provided me some of the best role-playing opportunities I've ever had. The corruption mechanic is so finely tuned, and it's so tempting.
Sweet.
Matt Bonhoff, board game. I played Hoot Owl Hoot with my daughter a lot. Video game. I replayed Portal 2 once.
Nice.
App, Alto is pretty fun. And RPG. I played so many that's hard to pick, but probably Apillion, since I had at least 3 awesome games of
There
it.
you go.
Apillion is a thing that I'd like to play sometime. I have it. I have a copy of it
Yeah.
with all the bits and stuff. Eric Simon, board game, Pandemic Legacy. Computer game, Civ 6. App game, Sentinels of the Multiverse. RPG, Rockalypse. Not because it's mine, but because I've never failed to have fun seeing what the players will do with it.
That is
Nice.
legit.
That's
Yeah,
totally
that's
legit.
totally
By the way, I'm so old that I played Civ 1 a lot. A lot. Through college.
Oh, man.
Get off my porch.
Jared Rasher, board game. I haven't gotten to play a board game since the beginning of the year, but when I did, I had fun playing Eldritch Horror. We didn't save
Excellent.
the world a single time, but it was fun seeing how badly we screwed up.
Oh, I'm with you, Jared. I'm with you.
The Dunwich Horror is the worst,
Oh
man.
my god, I've lost my ass in that game as well.
Video game. I played a whole lot of Witcher 3 after picking it up during a Steam sale and loved it. App game, Sentinels of the Multiverse. I can't get friends together to play it in person, but I can still experience the love.
That is a good game.
It is a good game.
It's a great app.
Yeah. RPG. I had a ton of great moments with both Monster of the Week and Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition this year, so it's hard to put one over the top of the other.
Yep.
Sean Nicholson. I haven't been playing too much this year, but we did play a heck of a lot of Betrayal at House on the Hill in the last couple of months. Has great replay value. I was also introduced to Werewolf. A great game. We just played that one game over and over for about 7 hours. I wound up getting home at 3 a.m. that night.
That happens a lot with that game.
Yeah, right. Board game, Inish, which I don't know that one.
I'm sorry. This is Stacey Winters.
This is Stacey Winters.
Yes.
Sorry. Stacey Winters, board game, Inish. RPG, Coriolis,
Yep.
from the designers of Mutant Year Zero. I actually don't know that one either.
I know the game, but not more than just the name.
Computer/console game, Stardew Valley. David Walker, board game, Imperial Assault. I love the mission-based scenarios. I love the objective is very rarely wipe out the other side. I think it really captures well the Empire vs. Rebellion story. And as the GM, there's nothing quite as satisfying as the rebels spending way too much time not opening a door because they are afraid of what will be revealed when they do.
Yeah.
Computer or console game, Darkest Dungeon.
Oh my God, this is on my list of games to play.
This might just be my favorite computer game ever. I love the punishing aspect of it. I love the feeling of accomplishment when you succeed. I love how you get attached to the poor schmucks in your stable, and then the game crushes them mercilessly, and you have to pick up the pieces and keep going.
It's also a roguelike.
I can attest that game is great.
Yeah.
I stopped playing it because I got to the point where they hadn't updated it.
Yeah.
And I only did as much as I could.
I've been meaning
have
to
to go
actually
back.
just get it on my PC and play it.
Yeah, I also don't have time to play games right now.
Yeah.
App game. Sentinels of the Multiverse app, quite possibly the best way to play Sentinels of the Multiverse, and I love the physical card game. Having the game do all the remembering and ruling on interactions is great,
Yeah,
and I get to
really
know
is.
characters I don't normally see a whole lot of, since it can be hard to get the game to the table face-to-face. Role-playing game. This is a two-part. First, the game I play, Savage Worlds. Savage Worlds literally saved my love of GMing because up to that point I had been running Hero, and I simply didn't have time for it anymore.
Yep.
I
Okay.
love the system. I love the theme.
Totally get it.
Yep.
Sure.
Now, the game that influences my GMing, Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
I only named that one because it's the first Powered by the Apocalypse game I've ever played or run. When I read Monster of the Week, it literally blew my mind. The way that it encourages the GM to set up and run a game has enabled me to have more fun as a GM than I ever have. And I'm pretty sure my players are having more fun with it as well.
David, all I can say is that Monster of the Week is indicative of what Powered by the Apocalypse games are like. You are not going to be disappointed.
Yep.
Yes.
There are many. Go listen to Plus One Forward with. Go listen to Plus One Forward on the Gauntlet Network. You will want to play so many more Powered by the Apocalypse games.
Yes, you will.
Yep.
All right, last thing for this year before we get out of here. Weight loss challenge.
Yep.
So, Bob.
Crushed it. And I mean that in a bad way. I finished this week with 196.8.
Can I ask you a question? What were you at the beginning of last year?
I don't remember. I have to go back and look.
No, you don't remember? Do you remember how much? What was your weight loss goal? Was it 10 pounds?
No, it was 20.
It was 20. So that means you got down to 180 then, right?
Yeah. So the goal was 185. So I
You were at
was
205.
205
So
when
you're-
I started.
You're still -9 for the year.
I am still -9 for the year. Yeah.
Oh, I can actually figure mine out for the whole year.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jared, you think about it, and then you can let me know.
Yeah.
Jared Rasher, last week 228, this week 226. That's 2 pounds less. That's good. Even the goal was 220. He weighed in Sunday morning, which is usually when he does his weigh-in, but that means I don't have any celebratory afternoon weight included. It was pretty hard. I was pretty hard at it for the first part of the week, but I don't think I'm going to hit my goal by the end of the year. But I didn't want to give in to my first inclination of just abandoning all the work I had done leading up to this point. It's warmer. The ice is gone. I'm on it as much as I can be for the last week. Randy Farmer, the old school DM. I made it. Started at 270.
Woohoo!
Lost my goal weight of 20 pounds when I weighed in Friday, and then again Christmas morning at 250. Not sure that the leftovers will keep me there this week, but I'm declaring victory. Fantastic, Randy. Good job. Chris Shorb. Did not make it. In fact, pretty much back where I started. But I am undaunted for the new year. IIRC, where were we going to send our items for you guys for a charity auction at the QCC? I will let everybody know.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Myself, I hopped on a scale. I fell off way hard in the back half. So at the beginning of last year, I was at 270, 272 actually. Right now I'm at 262. So I'm still -10 for the year. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I can do mine real quick. I started the year at 356. I hit my low. I hit my low in March during the first initial run at 330.
Okay.
That was like 26 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I am today at 344. I'm still down like
still
14
down.
pounds or 12 pounds from the start of the year, but I bounced. That summer thing came back. I'm now back on the horse. This week has been really tough. This is the
it's
Christmas
and
into
New
New
Year's.
Year's.
Yeah,
I'm just kind of eating. I'm doing okay, but I knew I lost weight. I was at 340 last week, so I was only down. I was only up 10 pounds from my lowest, but my mom came and made food. And,
Hey. That's the way it works.
That's what happens. Thanks, Mom.
Scott Robinson, I just hit my goal after a lot of walking on my vacation and some reasonable food choices. His starting was 235. His goal was 215. He just hit 215. Now to keep it at 215 through the New Year's weekend, I will switch to a weightlifting regime after that, so I don't know what it will do to my weight or do with my weight.
Yeah. Sometimes your weight goes back up because you start building muscle mass, but that's okay.
It's true.
As long as you're liking how things are fitting.
Yeah.
All right, last one. David Walker, our
MVP.
MVP.
The MVP for this
MVP
run.
of the weight loss challenge.
MVP.
And
The whole year, really.
Yep.
Yep.
Our MVP. There we go.
Yep. He was, first off, he said, man, I am happy to see so much positivity here. Great work, Randy Farmer and Scott Robinson, on hitting those goals. I can't wait for next year and seeing what everyone else can do. Can't wait for next year and seeing what everyone can do.
Me too, man. I'm coming back.
Yeah, I'm coming back too.
Yep.
My update. Goal, 207. Current, 199. The holidays kill me. Not so much the food, I can handle that. It's the stress of dealing with people, particularly those who hit me right in the mental soft spots. I will not drift back above 200, though. That is my pledge for this week. Even if you do, you were
still
awesome
made it.
this year,
Yeah.
man. Like, and I hope you don't, because that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got this. I know you got
Hey,
this.
in a few weeks, we're coming back.
Yep, we're coming back.
Regardless of all the trials and tribulations that people had during the course of both rounds of the weight loss challenge, there was one person always standing there at the edge of the ring, going, "Hey, we got this! Rah rah! Do the thing! Go go go! Everybody, yeah!"
Mm-hmm.
And that was David Walker,
David Walker,
Absolutely.
MVP man.
MVP of 2016.
Yep.
All right.
You want to pack this thing up?
Patreon shout-outs first.
Let's
Then
do
we can
Patreon
go.
shoutouts.
Eileen Barnes, thank you, graphic
Thank
novelty
you.
white.
I love Eileen.
Yep, yeah, me too. Stephen Farrell, thank you so much for being a patron.
I would love him more if he didn't keep making my tennis elbow come back. He's got that super strong handshake, man. He kills me every time.
Yeah, Scott Robinson, who is successful in the weight loss challenge this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
GM Gerrymander, thank you
Yay.
so much
Thanks.
for being
Yeah.
a patron. Appreciate it. And
Absolutely.
the Weregator, Eric Bontz.
Yes.
Nice.
Weregator is a 2016 friend.
Yes, he is.
I first met Eric at Gen Con.
Yeah. I don't know did I meet Eric at Gen
I knew him online.
Yeah.
But I actually got to.
I got to
We-
hang-
we all met him.
We hang. Okay, good. I can't remember because I just remember hanging out with him a bunch at a Catacon, which is
Yeah.
really awesome.
Yeah, but also at Gen Con. That's like where it started.
Yep.
And ironically,
That's right, because he didn't introduce himself as Weregator, so I didn't know who he was until somebody told me later
Right.
he was the Weregator. I'm like, oh, it's the Weregator.
and I'm fairly sure, and I don't think I got this wrong. Because I see GM Gerrymander around town.
Yeah, because he lives around here.
But I ran into him at Gen Con out of the blue. Like, I was leaving the mall, and he was coming into the mall, and it was just like, oh, like...
Yeah, he stopped by and just said hi to me when I was doing interviews and stuff,
Yeah.
which was really cool. I like talking to Jerry. He's a good guy.
So,
A great ambassador for gaming, too. All right. Well, with that, everyone, thank you so much for listening.
as always, if you are free on Tuesday evenings, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, 6:45 p.m. the Queen's time, you're welcome. Come join us live on Twitch, where you can jump into our awesome chat room for life, chat with the other live listeners, and occasionally poke at us and ask us questions.
If you cannot make it to the live show, check out our podcast each week wherever you get your podcasts, and take a listen to some of the other shows in the Misdirected Network, such as Down with D&D, Threats from Gallifrey, Advantage to Insight, Pandas Talking Games, Cypher Speak with Darcy and Troy, and the Gnome Cast. You can and should also check out some of our brother and sister podcasts. She's a Super Geek, Talking Tabletop, the Knights of the Night, and the always amazing Gaming MBS.
After that, you can recap your year for us by giving us feedback. You can reach us directly by emailing us, Chris at misdirectedmark.com.
That's me.
Phil at misdirectedmark.com.
He's over there.
Bob at misdirectedmark.com.
He sits at the end.
As always, send your hentai porn to Mark at misdirectedmark.com. He loves that stuff.
Especially New Year's hentai porn.
Yes.
And bring the PB&J pics.
All
I
of
can
them
take it.
to Bob.
You can check out our Facebook group. You can find us on Twitter. Let's clear this up. The show and network is now at Misdirected Mark.
Correct.
You are the Light 101.
That's right.
I am DNA Phil. This is Robert M. Everson.
Yes.
And as always, come, as I like to say, to the coruscant of our social media community, the G Plus community.
300 members and growing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yay.
If you like what we do here and on the other shows in the MM network, you can support our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMP or just click on the link on the webpage. Patrons get access to the after show, pre-production show notes, musical parodies, and the Pandas Talking Games bonus outtakes, plus whatever kind of crazy special releases we come up with for you folks.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to read that, Phil, because we didn't
don't.
actually play that thing
I didn't.
this time. I feel like I should just play it so you can actually...
No, it's fine.
No, it's fine.
It's all good.
Well, with that, Happy New Year, everybody. Anybody want to say Happy New Year or anything?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, this has been a Misdirected Mark production, the media arm of Encoded Designs, and for the last time in 2016, which can go die in a fire. Mic drop.
I was going to do that part. It's okay. Mic drop. The last mic drop. Ready?
Yeah.
We out.
Out.